Purdue was a number 1 seed as?
Kirk Cousins look like J.C. Penney.
Looks like it's back, Jack. It's bracket time, so make a chart. Does Jeff Van Gundy look just like the Queen of Hearts? Does Adam Silver look like a torpedo bat? Let's get March Sadness back on track. Looks like it's back, Jack. When the donuts are in front of you, does Andy Reid say, don't mind if I do? Adam Silver looks like a Q-tip thing, or frying a bag of onion rings. When Timmy laughs until he has, that's how you know that looks like his back, Jack. Let me hear you say, looks like his back, Jack. Let's keep on doing it every year. So add that verse says Mr. Bond, welcome to Tangier. Jeff Fisher looks like shotgunning beers at a NASCAR track. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Looks like his back, Jack.
Northwestern is gone from the tournament.
Jim Harbaugh looks like a casket salesman.
Fairleigh Dickinson, 16 seed, repped by?
Mike McDaniel looked like a college student on a full ride scholarship for esports.
What a run.
Looks like his back, Jack.
We did it, everybody. We made it. We made it to Friday. Give it up for making it through the week. We did it, everybody. Let's say hello as well to our pal Dave Dameshek. He's out there on the West Coast. Hello, Dave. Good morning.
Yo. What was being served in the Miami headquarters there? What did you have? You have some of those nice pork things I like for breakfast.
He likes the pork things. Dave misses
so
The
good.
chicharrones. No, we did not have chicharrones today.
Chicharrones.
No, we didn't have them. We had
number
croqueticas.
one.
We had pastelitos. We had a little bit of a Cuban sandwich situation. We had a little
It's
café
just
con
a ham,
leche.
little ham sandwich. I mean,
Ay, cuidado.
Dave misses the breakfast and lunch spreads every day we get here. That's one of the things when I told the folks at ESPN, when I told the producers at ESPN Radio how we get a spread every morning here, every lunch, they couldn't believe it.
they actually
granted,
they serve dinner too. It's odd. I don't know why no one's ever here.
I mean, granted,
against
they
the
get
spread.
Christine Lisi's cookies, and that's certainly
Those are fire.
Come on, but
We just have a jar of salt.
They
right next
couldn't
to our
believe
sandwiches.
they couldn't believe that we get the food, and clearly Dave misses the food that we get here. So, hey, we had Sweet 16 action get started last night. You got Major League Baseball opening day yesterday. Tony, you going opening day today?
I'm going opening day. There's been a lot of talk in the front row here about my involvement in baseball and my love for baseball and the sport. I'm going opening day. I'm going to be boots on the ground. I don't know who they're playing. And I don't know anything about the Marlins.
I'm on to this guy.
So I need Jeremy to let me know what's going on with the Marlins. Who do I need to look out for? What are the storylines? What am I getting myself into outside of copious amounts of beer and hot dogs?
Any sport besides MMA or football, I'm on to you, Tony.
That's not true. Yeah,
Basketball too.
Okay,
All right,
thank
you get 3. Those any outside of those 3, I'm on to you.
Okay, hold on. Before Jeremy gets into the opening day tips, and it's the Rockies, right? Marlins have the Rockies this weekend.
Yes.
You like everyone here has been to an opening day before, right?
I don't know if I've been to an opening day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
so
been to,
many
like,
great
games.
memories. Emilio Bonifacio's inside the park home run. Who can forget?
Yep.
I mean, that year was so
Several.
funny because, obviously, Mike, like that year, Dan was getting hit with it from all angles because of Emilio Bonifacio. Like, Dave, do you even know? Have you ever even heard the name Emilio Bonifacio?
If you want me to say no, I'll say no for the sake of the bit.
Yes,
But yes, I
play along.
have heard of him. Yes.
Play along.
Benefaso, who?
Yes, see, there you go. You know what's going on.
Dave watched sports.
I mean, Dan got crushed after the start of that season, if I'm remembering it correctly, right?
Yeah,
it's like Bonifacio had like 3 hits and an inside the park home run on opening day.
Yeah, he got out in front of Bonifacio's not that good, and then Bonifacio had a very hot first month. And then by the end of the season, Dan was right, but nobody cared because we had all had our fun.
Wow, so Tony, you've never been to an opening day. I used to always get jealous, Dave, where, the Marlins only came into action here in 1993. All right, so I was 12 years old when the Marlins began playing. Before that, I never had an opportunity, obviously. I don't think I'd ever even been to a Major League Baseball game before 19. I mean, how would I, right? How would I have been to a Major League Baseball game before we got the Marlins in 93? But I used to always be jealous for the several years after that when I'm in middle school where you would have some kids who were taken out of school early by their father to go to opening day down here, obviously, for the Marlins. I was always so jealous. Dave, I never got to do that. Whatever, my dad had a job that he couldn't just leave in the middle of the day.
Jeez.
I never
you
got to
gotta
do
pay
that.
it. Pay it forward. First of all, I think I mentioned it a week ago during the tournament. Mo Dameshek once boosted me from school so I could go home and watch the Pitt Panthers play in March Madness against Karl Malone and Louisiana Tech. The Pitt Panthers lost that day, but the big winner, Dave Dameshek, an ally for life he found in his mother. I went and picked up my two boys from school, and we went off to a getaway game.
A good father.
To go see the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. It was grand stuff, and it really, of course, you should be doing that kind of stuff. That's good parenting right there.
But Chris, you probably didn't ever do that either, because wouldn't your father have been working?
That's true. My mom took me, though.
Is that right?
I've been to so many opening days.
Yeah.
So your mom would come to school, take you out early, and you would go to opening days?
Of course. I can't believe it. Good parenting.
Wow. I never, clearly Tony didn't do that either. Doesn't know if he's been to an opening day, period.
I've been to a lot of closing days.
What?
Yeah.
You felt like instead of going to the first game where
I'm gonna go to the last
there's pomp
game.
and circumstance,
Right.
You got a lot of hope. Let me go to the last game when,
Yeah.
when it means nothing.
Right.
Those are great games.
I
And
actu-
appreciation.
Not only that, it was the concert series. I saw the Steve Miller Band.
Oh,
It was Pirates.
Really?
It was Pirates Marlins, the last game of the season.
Wasn't Willie Chirino?
No.
No, it
I
was
don't-
Steve Miller Band,
Steve
like
Miller
you
Band.
said, you idiot.
Thank you. Steve Miller Band. And it was the last day. I think it was the last game at Pro Player. If I'm not
Was it El
mistaken.
Gran Combo?
If it was the last game of Pro, so it was 2011 then. That was the
somewhere-
last
somewhere
year.
around there.
All right.
They had some bangers
Somebody
and
look that
some regrettable ones, like Diddy played.
Ew.
Yeah, I went to see that one.
What a shock! What a shock, though. What a shock, though, it's going to be, though, today. That crowd, the atmosphere, when you compare it to the last time there was a baseball game in that ballpark with the World Baseball
Let's not
Classic.
do
Why
that.
are we
this,
doing that?
This
Why?
is the most
Why not do
exciting
that?
day of the year for Marlins fans. They're expecting a good crowd. According to DraftKings Sportsbook, this is because the Rockies are terrible.
Yes.
And have been for a little bit here. The Marlins are favored, expected to win. I put my finger on the pulse of Marlins fans. They're excited about this year.
Oh, you've pulled Marlins fans?
I'm doing my best. I'm done being like, the NBA sucks and baseball sucks. I'm trying again. I'm done saying that, it's boring because I don't watch it. That carried me for 3 years. I'm back in.
It's funny you say that because last year, I went the whole year last year out on the Marlins. I'm giving the Marlins zero of my time. Well, how's that a fool? What did they do last year that would tell me I missed something?
They were the best team in baseball for a month and a half in the middle of the year. They got them back into the wild card race in a way that was. They had the best run in franchise history, tied with the 2003 season where they won the World Series. They just got off to a
this
slow
is
start.
something that I should regret that I missed that.
It was a lot of fun. It's entertainment in the middle of the summer in a sport that's a lot of fun. I don't understand why we have to roll our eyes at it.
I just don't know if I can actually follow it because I believe the package that I got was Heat Rays. So let's go Rays.
Hey, new broadcast deal. Marlins.tv. You can get the entire season for $100.
Can we now agree? I think I might even be late to the party to say this on this show, but this is something I've been saying for a couple of years. Baseball ahead of NBA now, right? Do we agree on that?
Absolutely not.
Baseball and NBA ahead of NBA in what metric?
In any metric.
In
I
pleasure.
No.
Pleasure.
No. All right, so
Hell
that's
yeah.
one of the metrics. That's a no.
Do you have any
No,
other
huh?
metrics?
Any other metrics?
I don't care about what the ratings are. I'm not one of those people about look at where the audience. That is neither here nor there.
So
to
not
me.
a
Just
single metric.
straight up,
Except your opinion.
viscerally. Yeah.
Okay,
that's what
all
I'm
right,
going
all right,
off
hey,
of.
that's a
my
metric.
opinion is that I am much more interested in Major League Baseball, but I also feel that there's something in the air that we have become cynical about the NBA for a number of reasons, and the Major League Baseball has kind of fixed itself up, addressed some of the issues that people had with it, and it has amounted to, I think, a little more interest in our former national pastime.
Well, I will tell you, between the two sports, MLB and NBA, and baseball being the, old fuddy-duddy white guy sport, Major League Baseball has done a much better job at adapting and being progressive with the times than the NBA has, where you look at the things that the NBA and that nothing Adam Silver have tried to do to fix the league, nothing has worked. And you look at Major League Baseball, the changes that they've made when it comes to pace of play, and now we're going to see the ABS this year. Like, I think pretty much everything that Major League Baseball has done to try and help the game along has worked.
That's a terrific point by Zaz, and I guess it's a point for Dave Dameshek too. I can't believe it, but like, we're now talking about the NBA as a team that needs to do some drastic rule changes to adapt to the style of play because the math has kind of gamed the system, much like baseball. And baseball was always reputed to be the sport that was so against change.
Yep.
And here they are trying to change with the times, and the NBA, inexplicably, because there is a clear and obvious problem with the sport, but I'm not going to get into that because I'm trying to give it another chance, is still dragging its feet.
Well, and the commissioner, Adam Silver, who again is a nothing, his solution to everything is let's do a tournament. Any problem that the NBA has, you got to do a tournament, Dave.
I mean, the entire debate this season, once again, kind of is the amount of games being played, and a lot of people who love the NBA advocating for a lot fewer games. Like, let's cut the season down by 10 or 15%. That doesn't sound like a sport that's booming to me when people are trying to rationalize their way around how we can have an MVP if he only plays, let's say, 75, 80% of the season. I mean, that's the rolling discussion. It's dissatisfying, obviously, and baseball is booming. The only question is that I hear you, Mike, let's not do, or who was it, Zaz, who said let's not do the World Baseball Classic versus a Marlins regular season baseball game. But if they can somehow bridge some of that energy, I understand it's not going to be a sellout with people going gaga inning to inning, but if they can somehow get some of that spirit. I thought it was a bad look during the World Baseball Classic when MLB is tweeting out and otherwise like, look at the energy in this place. Like, yeah, that's exactly what you don't have. And in fact, that's what you sort of you discourage formally as a league. You don't like individual celebration, but if they can bring more and more of that in there, yes, I think that MLB's rise continues. By the way, very quickly, dynasties, whether people say they hate them or not, are good for sports, and the Dodgers make baseball more compelling than the NBA, which is intentionally trying to create some parity. That works in the NFL because it's wildly popular. It's not going to work in the NBA or other sports.
I mean, the Dodgers dynasty was a huge storyline in a World Series, had injected a lot of enthusiasm around the sport. I mean, Jeremy makes orgasm noises anytime that you mention that Game 7.
You mentioned that 3-0 pitch. Kidding me?
I watched it again the other night while I was sitting in a bar, Taché. It was up on the screen, and I mean, from the 8th inning through the completion of that game, I can't believe that was Game 7 of the World Series, and only our collective cynicism has gotten in the way of us celebrating that moment, that hour or whatever it was in real time for the Fall Classic. I can't get over it. Now I'm getting excited. Andy Pa has collided with Kike Hernandez in the outfield. I mean, the season is over if he drops that ball. They collided, and he catches the. Oh, what a stretch that was, and we haven't celebrated it enough.
There is a lot of momentum. Hopefully, there's a good crowd today at Lone Depot Park.
Oh no, there'll be a good crowd. There should be.
But hopefully, there's enough concession stand workers.
Yeah,
so the lines aren't long.
They did a great job during WBC.
But to Dave's point, like I've seen some ballparks try to replicate. The Athletics, I think, had a drum section like 15 years ago. Like it takes a full house to capture that energy. Yeah, there are instruments. Yeah, there's dancing. Yeah, there's chanting. But all that stuff is sad if there's only a smattering of like 400 folks doing it.
We're replacing a bunch of Dominicans with me and my family.
I don't think the Marlins are totally incapable of recapturing that energy, but it is highly dependent on the Marlins putting on an on-field product that gets the people in that building, and then that stuff will take care of itself. But first and foremost, the Marlins have to be good.
That's the whole thing with them, right? Like that's this town in general. You've got to be good for a sustained period of time to get people to show up, and they might not leave once you do,
or
right?
they might stop showing up if you don't make the playoffs, according to a Minnesota Wild play-by-play guy.
Well, that's a whole other conversation that we can get into. But with the Panthers, right? They've had a couple of good years. The crowds continue to show up in a year where they've struggled. The Dolphins haven't been good in God knows how long, but because they were great in the childhood of so many people that are now in their 60s.
I don't think this rule that you are putting out there applies to the NFL. The NFL is like a completely separate
So
entity.
even look at the Heat.
Your teams can be horrible and people are still going to go to NFL. But the other sports, yes, you're right. Heat, Panthers, once you win a championship, you're golden. I mean, the Heat have been golden attendance-wise since 2006. The Panthers now, because you have the generation. You have captured the generation of fans, and they're never going to go anywhere, and they're going to pass it down to their kids as well. You are golden once you win the championship, and that's why you see the Panthers in a year that, they're not making the playoffs, and we've really known it for a while now. It's still a very big house.
Says they've won 2 World Series.
It's doing it and keeping.
I know, but
it's
it's like you won the
sustaining it.
championship.
But you can't tear. You have to give the fans an opportunity the next year when you're going to have packed houses because they just won a World Series. You have to give the fans an opportunity to celebrate the World Series. And Wayne Huizinga at the parade in 1997 says, "Enjoy it now while it lasts." And he tore the whole team down.
Yeah, there was a point after 2003 where I will give credit to Jeffrey Lurie and David Sampson. They were trying to compete.
2004 they were good. 2005 they spent money in 2005. Carlos Delgado, they were good too.
They made big time acquisitions. They were going for it, and like the attendance did reflect that. It was an uptick in attendance, but you were going from a very low point to a point that wasn't really impressive. And then everybody argued, well, we're trying this hard, but no one's showing up because the stadium is bad.
Oh, people don't understand, Dave. Like the stadium, while it's world class now, but for baseball, every day, sometimes in the middle of the day, holy shit, like unbelievably hot.
Tough.
Like you can't
miss that
go
stadium.
to the
Yeah,
games.
I miss it too, and there were rain delays like every game.
June in the middle of the day.
Just for nostalgic purposes, I miss it.
But they were competitive there, and they were trying, and I do think that there was an uptick in attendance just a little bit, even though it was hard to get to. And then they threw it all away once they got the new ballpark because everything that they told us ended up being lies. Because I don't want to do. Look, let's restart.
No, it's opening day.
Yeah,
I'm
just because Dave's here, and I'm trying
this.
to explain why we're here and how this is a new day and how there's momentum for the sport, and for the first time in a long time, there's actually genuine enthusiasm and optimism surrounding this ball club and playoff talk.
I could listen to you guys talk about this for a few hours. I would the lore sincerely of the Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, and all the rest of it. From a distance, nationally, I think both. It is wild that one franchise in the span of a half dozen or so years won 2 championships, and both are deeply resented by the rest of the nation. I mean, really. In the history, or in the last 50 years of big-time American sports, I don't think people nationally are more dismissive about a couple of championships than they are about those 2 Marlins World Series titles. What that does to you, I don't know. Down in if that makes you guys puff your chest out even more, or put a chip on your shoulder. Sincerely, also, Mike, fellow drip driller. How much does the lack of consistency in the look and really bring it home for me? Give me the 1, 2, 3 Marlins outfits, their uniforms, because the teal is where they start, and then they just decide like one day, I can't stand when teal. Yeah. I know we used to be now we're black and orange. Like what the hell? You don't get to what kind of voodoo are you trying to work on us? You don't get to just change your color scheme because you decide it's convenient for you. You chose teal and black. Now deal with it.
So,
right?
Dave, I actually agree, and I've argued this point. It's why I'm excited that the Teal is coming back on Sundays. Woo! Because for a franchise that's roster construction has always been very transient. There haven't been players that have been here long enough to really put their roots down. And the second that you start feeling like, this guy's a face of the franchise, an all-timer, they end up getting moved. So for me, the connection point to my childhood when I watched every game, when I really loved the game, when I could honestly say baseball was my favorite sport, they were wearing teal. And so they move into this new ballpark. That's a shock to the system, whatever. And for their color scheme, you said black and orange. No, Dave, they picked every color. They like their logo was the entire color spectrum. Pick a color.
It's outrageous. It's like OKC did the same crap. Like, we're a new franchise. Now we have the troubling choice of thunder. Singular, like we've talked about before. What the hell? Why couldn't you just go Twisters? Why couldn't you just be the OKC Twisters? That would have been cool. Instead, Thunder, now the grammatical conundrum, and then on top of it, what's your color scheme? All. We're taking all. What do you mean? No, you need like a couple colors. No, we want them all. We're taking orange, or we're taking 2 or 3 shades of blue. We're working some black. No. Choose your colors. I'm with you.
So then they decided to move to like black, blue, caliente red, and that's where they are right now. For me, like, since I don't have luminaries really hanging around, since I don't have a player that has been around long enough during the time that I've been really actively following the sport, the connection point that would always take me back down a nostalgia trip would be those uniforms. I want to see a team on the field reflect that of my childhood. And I'm excited about the teal thing on Sunday, even though the teal jersey that they're wearing, they never actually wore during game. Yeah. But I think that this franchise, it's the most obvious thing in the world. When you look at the problems that face this franchise and the connective tissue to the community, it's the easiest solution for me to say, let's go back to our old look. That way people can start feeling like they have some kind of connection.
I used to like the cutoffs, the sleeveless that they used to wear.
Hard to sell, though.
Yeah.
Hard to sell. Like, that's why the MLB went away from that, because guys don't want to buy vests on Fanatics or whatever.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's hard to rock that at a game.
You know about that vest?
Who's most likely to wear that in that room right now? I'm gonna go with in a surprise, a slight upset over Tony. Mike Ryan Ruiz is the most likely to wear one of those out on the street, unironically.
I would rock a vest to a game. I like
Tony Conigliaro.
I think that I have my own frustrations with Lone Depot Park. Hopefully they turn it around. It's not just the atmosphere, it's the concessions. Like, I like college baseball. I love going to Marklight Stadium. There is tradition there. There is a community there. And I like the ping of the baseball bat. I have a team that it's college baseball, so I don't actually get attached to the players. It's always the program, and those colors ain't a-changing, right? If the Marlins can just guarantee me a good time, because I've been there about like 10 times since I moved into Lone Depot Park, I'd go more.
That's it?
I'd go more. Yeah, it's a bad ballpark, dude. I don't like it. And I've gone to so many ballparks. Even as somebody that would admit I don't like the sport all that much anymore, I love sitting outside, drinking a beer, hearing the crack of the bat, smelling the grass. It reminds me of a bygone era. I like it. Lone Depot Park doesn't do it for me.
Do we know what the setup is tonight, Jeremy? Are we doing roof, windows?
Roof
Do we know
open?
what the deal is?
The plan is always roof open on opening day, so long as the weather allows it, right? The last thing you want is an opening day rain out. So if the weather's holding up,
Well, it looks good.
it would be a roof open if the weather is holding up. And it really plays into what Mike is talking about, where you're looking for a reason to have connection. Sandy Alcantara is making his 6th opening day start tonight.
Yeah, no, that is actually a real rarity for this franchise.
No, I think the
That has
next
to be the
most is
record by
3.
far.
It is a record. It is a record by a wide margin.
It was probably a record 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a record probably before
He
the Tommy
set the
John.
record twice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Who
And
was the 3? Like Ricky Nolasco?
I think
That's a great
Nolasco,
guess.
Josh Beckett, I think had a
multiple
few.
did 3?
I think there's a few
Josh
guys
Johnson.
that had 3. Yeah, Josh Johnson might have
Josh
had a few
Johnson.
there as well. But you'd be surprised how
Josh
short
Johnson
of a
was
time
good.
period he was. Josh
Johnson
Johnson
was
is one of
good.
the best pitchers in this
But
franchise's
very
history.
short.
He was
He got hurt
great.
very quickly.
He got
all
hurt
those
quickly.
battles with Roy Halladay.
Dude.
Doc.
One of my
RIP.
least favorite memories is I was supposed to go to the Roy Halladay perfect game, but I had a JV baseball game, and my dad was like, you have commitments. You have commitments that you made to your team. You're supposed to be there. And it was Josh Johnson against Roy Halladay. Johnson throws seven innings, 1 run. He was amazing. Roy Halladay throws a perfect game, and I wasn't there. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget my dad.
Nolasco actually never did it. A bunch of guys have done it twice. Only Josh Johnson did it 3 times, 10, 11, and 12. And then Beckett did it 3 times, 03, 04, 05.
But with Sandy Alcantara on the mound, like that's one of the things to look
That's my
forward
guy.
to here, right? Is this opportunity for a guy in Sandy to come back and have a great year, Dave?
Well, I just think there's a weird paradox for Miami-based baseball fans. Baseball is huge in your part of the country, but playing it under a dome, like Mike kind of hints at, isn't terribly satisfying. It's just not the aesthetic that you want for
that doesn't bother me
summertime.
at all.
I hear you. I think you have to accept that. If you're going to be a Marlins fan and be a regular at the ballpark, then you're going to go and sit under the dome. But I suspect that a lot of people, in theory at least, are purists about it. I want to be under the sun drinking a beer
Dave,
and
but
all of that.
Dave, I
that
get
Mike
that.
just described.
I get that. But again, playing at pro player and sitting in the stands at
It's
pro player was playing on the
different
surface
kinda
of the
hot
sun.
here.
I prefer it. Than
The
sitting-
surface of the
I
sun?
prefer it, honestly, than the ambient hum of the AC. And
Yeah,
that
that AC set to
antiseptic
72 though.
part. I just don't like it. It needs to do something to
can't
tap
they-
into character. It doesn't have character.
Why can't they do a thing like soccer stadiums do in Europe? And now more and more, you even see NFL stadiums. Seattle kind of has that in Buffalo, what they're building looks like that, where you cover at least the fans and get out of the severe sun. I know
They have that at
humidity,
the
there's no
Dolphins
answer for
games. They
that.
have that at Hard Rock. It's just not a complete covered thing. But I don't know. They made it covered, and there's nothing we can do about it.
They just don't want all
It
the
opens and
rainouts.
closes it.
Yeah, they don't.
It's that simple.
Rainouts plagued this market for such a long time,
That's
and
what it is.
and it was something that I would openly complain about because we're like half the time I would go to a Marlins game, I was in the concourse for like 2.5 hours. It wasn't a short amount of time. I get it, but I would like to have the roof open a little bit more. I'd like to have the breeze running through there a little bit more, but also I would just like a better park. I think they missed the mark with the park, and it's not like they can do much with it. But let's switch gears because we alluded to it, Zaz, earlier. There was a Minnesota Wild guy that really tapped into what little energy we had left about this disappointing hockey season.
You wanted my attention? You got it. So the Wild beat the Panthers last night 3-2. I mean, the Panthers are really fielding a mash unit at this point. Like, Evan Rodriguez is now going to miss the remainder of the season. He broke his finger. Why are you laughing?
A mash unit on purpose. Why? I mean, what is it with the Florida NHL teams just trying to game the system all the time?
Anyway,
all of a sudden, these specious injuries are cropping up all over the place. It turns out we have to shut down 2/3 of our team.
All of a sudden. I don't. You follow the sport. I think you have an idea of how much hockey this franchise has played and how beat up they've been in those runs. But I'd like to let Zaz continue to speak, Dave.
Their finger. He has a hurt finger.
Really tough loss last night. The Panthers scored to tie it with the empty net, and then they gave up the winner with 5 seconds left. Tough loss. Could have used the point. Anyway, so last night, apparently in the middle of the game, and it's a photo you could see on video. We'll put it up there. Some guy named Anthony LaPlanta, all right? He apparently is he's the play-by-play guy for the Minnesota Wild. So get this, all right? Mid-game, if you were to zoom in, video team does not have to, but if you were to zoom into the scoreboard, this is almost 6 minutes into the start of the game, all right? It's very early in the game. And the Minnesota Wild play-by-play guy decides in the middle of calling the action, I'm going to take a photo of the crowd, and I'm going to post on Twitter, and I'm going to accompany that caption by saying, good to see all of those, quote, die-hard, lifelong Panther fans that were seen in public for the first time ever during the Stanley Cup Finals have gone back into hiding. End of tweet. So now this isn't some podcaster who follows the Minnesota Wild. This isn't some blogger who follows the Minnesota Wild. This is their actual play-by-play television announcer who decides we are going to come after Panther fans for not showing up at the end of the season, which, by the way, the announced crowd last night, just under 19,000.
It was a good crowd.
Just under 19,000.
This guy hasn't seen a bad crowd from us.
No, I've seen plenty of bad crowds, and most importantly, Zaz, in that photo, to boost his argument, it's Club Red.
Dave. So you got to understand here. He's pointing the picture at the Club Red, although it's not called that anymore. Whatever it's called, Amaranth Vault. This is the two sections center ice, which have the all-you-can-eat buffet, which I don't know about you, Dave, but if I purchase those seats in the Amaranth Vault, I'm probably going to spend a few minutes at the all-you-can-eat buffet before I get to my seats at the start of the game.
It's a big-time hospitality area for the Panthers.
And so he points there and does the whole die-hard, lifelong Panther fans have gone back into hiding. Let me also remind everybody, okay, that this dolt doesn't point out to everyone. Let me remind everybody, the city of Minnesota, had their hockey team taken from them. And I'm sure it had nothing to do with fan support. Their team moved to Texas.
The city of Minnesota is, in fact, two cities. It's I like it very much, too, by the way. It's the Twin Cities. What goes on there, by the way? It's the same thing that goes on with Tampa and St. Pete. I don't understand. I don't get I didn't take civics class. What goes on that you're allowed to be Minneapolis and St. Paul and just count as one? That explains Zaslow's confusion. You also have to understand, NHL people, as somebody who has been an NHL diehard for 25, 40 years now.
Don't throw shade at us.
There's a collective chip on the shoulder about the sport and how people support it or don't and all of that. People are much more, it's like liking an indie band versus a major label band. You feel like you have to defend it a little bit more, like U2 doesn't need to be defended, but Built to Spill or Modest Mouse does, or Pavement. They need you to perpetuate them a little bit more. I think that, but nevertheless, pretty crappy stuff out of the play-by-play guy from Minnesota. Of course, I'm with Zaslow. Well, Evan Rodriguez isn't playing because he has a hurt finger. You think I'm going to sit there and watch the game? No, I'm going to go down in the bowels and eat the all-you-can-eat. I'm going to go for plate number 4.
And watch a World Series from several months ago.
If anyone was unclear what this guy Anthony does for a living, he clearly has the microphone in his profile picture. That's when you know someone's really made it, is when they put the microphone in their profile picture.
It's the Dom Draper meme. I don't think about you at all. What is it? Why you're a Minnesota Wild play-by-play guy? I barely think of you.
What is a Wild?
That's right. It's the outsides.
Jeremy, Tony needs some opening day tips. He's going. He doesn't even know if he's ever been to an opening day before.
I don't think so. Maybe.
I mean, what a childhood.
I don't like what he's doing.
I go to closing days, though, and Steve Miller Band concerts.
And you have a Marlins storyline top 5 for us?
Yeah, I do. I have basically everything that you need to know and be
write
thinking
this down.
about in terms of what this season is going to look like for the Marlins based off last year. So a couple of OLIs. Last year, there were several rookies, first-year players who contributed to that roster in a big way.
So good rookies.
Good rookies. There are guys coming back for their second year. The question will become, in the long run, who are the guys that come up this year and contribute? Is it Thomas White or Robbie Snelling, the left-handed pitchers who are at the very top of their prospects list? Is it Joe Mack, the star catcher, who could come up maybe by May or so? Is it Kemp Alderman, a power-hitting outfielder that they could go to for some right-handed pop?
Tony, say 2 of the names he just said.
Jack Mack? Was it Jack Mack?
Joe Mack, but Jack Mack.
Joe Mack. Okay.
Jack Mack's back, Jack. Another OLI. The Marlins calling pitches from the dugout. So the Marlins and the Mets followed suit.
I don't like this.
The Mets followed suit here, but the Marlins pitching coaches will be the ones calling the game. They'll be signaling to the catcher and to the pitcher through PitchCom. It's their scouting, their control, and they're taking that out of the thought process for the catcher. It's just, hey, here's what we're executing, and we're ready to go. They were doing it at the minor league system last year to a lot of success.
Where is the PitchCom?
In their ear.
In their ear.
He has an earpiece in?
They all,
they all
the
have.
catcher and the pitcher both have an earpiece.
And the entire field has it, so that they can know what's coming.
I heard Clayton Kershaw say last night on the NBC broadcast that he's skeptical that a lot of teams are using this to, like, anytime they want to, like, slow an offense down and get away from the pitch clock, you just act like you're having an issue with the monitor.
It's like the tire sheet
I
thing.
thought I saw that during the WBC when I first discovered that our time-honored tradition of signs from the catcher.
It's a
to the pitcher
way
were
to
gone.
throw people off without breaking.
That's
any rules.
interesting. I'm gonna try to pay attention to that. But
Wait, so they will pause the pitch clock if you're having a problem with your
If
earpiece?
you're
It's
like
a pseudo mound visit.
It's a tech issue almost. So
I mean, they don't pause the NFL play clock when you're having a problem with your headset, you know? All right.
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, it's something that happens here. But the Marlins are going to be calling pitches from the dugout, so we'll see how that impacts their pitching. Number 5, how do those 2 productive rookies from last year fare this season in Augustine Ramirez and Jacob Marcy?
I thought that was the first OLI. How the rookies do.
No, those are the guys that could come up. This is how will the guys do in their sophomore year.
Also, Jack
Those
Mack,
were
I'm
the
not going
guys-
to see tonight.
Joe Mack, you're not going to see tonight. Jacob Marcy.
Jack Mack's a barstool influencer.
Jacob Marcy and Augustine Ramirez, those were the 2 star rookies for the Marlins in the first half of the year. It was Augustine Ramirez who came up, lit the world on fire as a catcher.
Could it be?
He does. That's what we have to see is can he do it? And is Jacob Marcy as good as he was last year? Because if he is a building block for this organization, a star in the making.
Could
So
the
Marcy building block.
Marlins calling pitches from the dugout be that they don't trust Augustine Ramirez defensively at all?
Whether it's Gus, whether it's Liam Hicks, whether it's Joe Mack, but Joe Mack is going back to him, a star in the making defensively in particular, and they were doing this with him in the minor leagues as well. This is them just wanting to execute from the top down everything that they have, and they're taking that out of the hands so that they can rely on defense, so that they can focus on ABS.
They just put up on our screen what it looks like.
That's the
It's
pitch
just
com.
Splitter, low inside, low middle. Like, it just seems very complicated.
Number 4, how will Kyle Stowers fare this season? Now, you're not going to see Stowers tonight because he's starting the year on the IL, but he should be coming back soon. He said yesterday that he's feeling, a lot better
Tony,
than he was.
it's called
He has a
IL
hamstring
now.
thing.
It's called IL
It is called the IL, not the DL.
Have some sensitivity.
Injured list. So, Kyle Stowers last year was an all-star, was one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball for pretty much the entire time he played. He was a top 5 to 8 MVP candidate throughout most of the season.
Really?
He was.
Can't be true.
Until he got hurt.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the National League.
A
That's
Marlin.
that's not that surprising. He was having a great season. And as of I think it was July, it was like him and Shohei were the only guys, or he and Judge were the only guys who were hitting above a certain average with a certain amount of home runs. He was great. What happens from here? Number 3. Who is this year's Kyle Stowers? Who's the guy that shows up and has a year where you think he's going to be good and then he's great? They're going to need at least one of those. It could be Otto Lopez. It could be Graham Pauley. It could be Gus Ramirez. Number 2, is Sandy the guy? Is he back to
Sandy
being an
Backjack.
ace? Is Sandy Backjack? Is he the guy from the first half of last season coming off Tommy John? Is he the guy from the second half of the season where he's an ace? He and Yuri Perez can be the best 1-2 punch in baseball if they're both at their best. People are predicting him for the Cy Young. And number 1,
Which one, Sandy or Yuri?
Yuri. Number 1, how will Jeremy Taché fare as the in-game host for the start of this season?
We talked about it on our live stream yesterday. I'm looking. He's got the first 2 series. I think the Marlins are giving him a little tryout.
I
think
wish,
my man cleans up here.
Well, if they
this
go
first-
6-0, I can't stop.
Sorry, Jeremy. I'm a Ryan Bass guy because of the nature of my subscription.
Damn.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Sweet 16 action last night. First two games were awesome. I hated that because the two games at the end of the night weren't great. Arizona crushed Arkansas and Illinois beat Houston. But the first two games, Purdue and Texas, awesome. Iowa, Nebraska, awesome. Like both at the same time. I don't know if you guys know the way it works. I can't have sound on multiple TVs at once. It'd be really confusing. So I can only have sound on one of the games, and I chose for it to be Purdue and Texas. And then I'm watching, keeping track of Iowa, Nebraska on the other TV, but that's on mute.
You know about that multi-view?
Yeah, but then you can't
you
have sound
switch back and
But it can't be
games.
multi-sound.
Yeah,
He's
you don't
right.
want multiple sounds on. That'd drive a person
That's
insane.
what I'm saying.
But you just switch, you just toggle the screen.
Does it happen with you guys with my YouTube TV? It takes forever for the sound to go over. If I have two games going, if I go over to the right one, it doesn't instantly go.
You know about that good internet?
Is that what it is? It takes sometimes like 30 seconds
on
for the
dial-up
sound
still?
to switch. I'm telling you, maybe it's just my setup. My internet's fine in general, I think, but
Can I tell you? I think it was
forever.
at the Heat game. Jessica Smetana joining us, of course. Hello, Jess.
Hey, Jess.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
At the Heat game, I was at the Heat game last week, and they do, those, trivia or something in timeouts or whatever. And they had a kid, I don't know, he looked like he was maybe like 18, all right? And it's, what sound is this? And they play the sound of dial-up internet. The kid heard a noise he'd never heard before. He had no clue what the sound was. I mean, we're at that point where dial-up was so... That's how... Do you remember when you would use dial-up? Jess, do you remember? I don't know, maybe you're too young even, Jess, but you would use dial-up, and
Thank you.
And then... Well, that is a compliment. You would use dial-up, and then you would lose the signal... because your mom would, pick up the phone downstairs because she wants to make a phone call. Mom, I was in the middle of downloading something.
Wow, you didn't have a business line.
Right?
Oh, you have to have the business line.
You would always get interrupted by your parents picking up the phone. Anyway, Jess, were you into the games last night?
I was very into the games last night, but I have a question because I have the same scheduling issue as you do, and it's the same thing tonight. There's multiple games on at the same time, but on the women's NCAA tournament today, starting at 2:30, we have staggered start time, so I can watch all the games back to back to back. Why do the men have all of their games on at prime time, or 10 p.m. is I understand that's prime time for the West Coast, but I mean, there's just no way I'm staying up till midnight to watch Houston shoot 28% from the field.
No, that sucks.
Happening.
And the first game tonight, St. John's and Duke, which
Good game.
going to be really great. Alabama, Michigan's going to be great. Anyway, the first game, Duke, St. John's, 7:10. You got to have the first game at 6. The first game's got to be 6 p.m. These games, you're starting them too late. You got 4 games, Jess, all starting after 7 p.m. Come on, get a clue.
Can I also say, the other day I heard Dusty May was going to be on the show. I said, oh, that's cool. Lehman has been embedded with the Michigan basketball team this whole year, working on a documentary series about the road to March Madness. And I said, I'll stay tuned for that. Maybe there's a soundbite that I can send to Lehman that they can put in the show.
Took a Waymo.
Well, I was wrong. I was wrong about that.
I gave you plenty of sound bites there. What's the problem?
Most enjoyable interview he's had in a while, he told us.
He was into it. He was asking
there
me
you go.
questions along the ride. He loved it.
Okay. I don't know if it's going to make the final cut.
Did you guys see this? So Will Wade, all right. Will Wade is now the he's once again the head coach at LSU. That seems pretty rare that happens, right?
Yeah, this is very rare. I saw someone on Twitter accuse LSU of building the Avengers of asshole coaches.
Yeah. And tell everybody who you're referencing, of course.
Well, Lane Kiffin is there. I don't know if you saw that. And Will Wade is, has his own reputation.
And,
I cannot.
And
who am I? Oh, Kim! Don't you dare say a bad thing about Kim.
We love her.
Don't
Be
do. Yeah,
nice.
Kim.
Be
Kim's
nice. She's
yeah.
a saint.
Yes, you tread lightly
you're the
around.
one who
And a
brought
fox.
the asshole Avengers.
I didn't even consider she was one of them. One thing you need to know about me, Zaz. I'm big Kim Mulkey guy.
All right.
All right. I don't know what it is.
Baby.
He's an ally.
I don't know.
He's an
I
ally.
don't know what it is.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. Yeah. Big
Speaking
fan of Kim
of
Mulkey.
10 p.m. tip-offs, they're playing tonight against Duke. That's going to be a really fun game. A lot of storylines in that one.
Yeah, that one's a
Very
banger
exciting.
of a game in the women's tournament.
So Will Wade has left NC State. NC State lost in the first 4 to Texas, who lost last night. Really fun game against Purdue. We can get to the games in a moment here. But Will Wade becomes, again, the LSU head coach. He signed, I think, a 6-year deal with NC State last year. This was the first year of his deal. But here's what happened, all right? So let's go back. I think this is about 2 weeks ago when there are, the LSU job is opening up and, the rumors are starting to fly. So as any good reporter would do, they would ask Will Wade about the potential of becoming the LSU head coach once again. Here it is.
A lot of talk with you and potential position at LSU. Just wanted to see if anybody from that campus reached out to you and just give you an opportunity to speak on that.
No, is the job open there? Huh? No? So why would, I'm not, listen, let me be very clear. I'm excited at NC State. I was hired at NC State to do a job. This wasn't going to take 1 year. I've already met with our administration about next year and some of the changes that we need to make and some of the things that we need to do to put this program where it deserves long term. So I'm not, I don't, I'm not on social media. I'm not into gossip. I'm not into any of that sort of stuff. But look, we're going to win, and we're going to win big at NC State.
For me, Jess, it's one thing to do the whole lying thing, all right? And it's another thing to try and make the reporter feel like an asshole. And that's what he did there.
He was right, though. The job wasn't open. It's unclear if the job ever was open because they seemed to hire him before they fired the coach that had signed a 7-year deal. What was it, 3 years ago? Because of the amount of turmoil that the program was in because of the recruiting violations from Will Wade's first tenure. So I feel like there's like a small domino, big domino thing happening here with like small domino. Brian Kelly gets embarrassed on national television against Texas A&M. And then like big domino, Will Wade's back at LSU because of all of the things that had to happen in the athletic department for this to come back around. But I'm with you, Zaz. Very, just kind of bratty way to answer that question. And then ultimately he looks like a liar. I think Boo Corrigan, the NC State athletic director, would tell you that he said he felt like he was lied to and he wants to commiserate with the fans and he's disappointed. And then my last final thing on this is the statement that he put out was a very graphic design is my passion statement. It was just very ugly. What are we doing? Like, why'd you do it in red? Why'd you make it NC State colors? Like, did the NC State designers, they're like, yeah, we're not going to make one for you. So you got to make one yourself. And he's like, okay, I'll make it look like it's an NC State thing. It was very ugly. I did not like it.
All right. So as
would
Jess,
you guys go
go ahead,
with?
Dave, sorry.
Well, I'm just curious where you come down on this. Would you rather be Will Wade or Wade Will? I think Wade Will is better. And if you're William Wade, I think you go Billy Wade over Will Wade. How say you?
Are you Wade William, though? Or are you just Will? Wade Will.
No, okay. Will. I think really, like, if you're Will Wade, I think the better option is Billy Wade. I think, like, all of the derivations of William, Billy is the coolest. In fact, I am a William. I'm William David, but I named my son Billy. I didn't name him William. I named him Billy. Just because, like, once you get to those teen years, then you feel like I want to be more grown up, and so you go like, let's lose the Y because that's a little boy, and then I'm Bill. But then if you're Bill Dameshek for that's Squaresville. But if you're Billy Dameshek as a grown-up, you're cool. And if you're Billy Wade, you're cooler than that dork we just saw admonishing the nice reporter there, Will Wade. Says everything about, you could see it coming from a mile away. Why? Because his name is Will. What kind of hardo goes with Will over Billy?
So, like Jessica alluded to, the NC State AD is Boo Corrigan. And here he is yesterday giving his side of the events that took place leading up to Will Wade leaving.
Asked him what he needed, right? What do we need to be competitive? From there, as far as the resignation letter, it was an email, right, that we received from his agent, and talking with his agent.
So he did not reach out to you directly?
Not from that standpoint.
There's a lot of people, particularly the ones in NIL, that subsidize the success of athletics, that feel disappointed, maybe even feel like they were lied to. How do you speak to them in regards to what you're going to do in the future, and to sort of say, hey, stick around, stick with us, we're going to do this?
I think I would commiserate with them in terms of feeling lied to, right? And let them know that it's not something that I didn't know anything about, and as surprised as they are by what's going on, but reassure them that we're going to find a coach that wants to be at NC State.
An email from the agent to the AD, that's Bush. Jess, that's Bush.
Yeah. I mean, and also the ugly graphic design is my passion statement. I think that's more Bush League. But I mean, I don't know. I there's a lot of ire for Will Wade and LSU and all this stuff. Like, I guess my question is, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of LSU men's basketball to begin with, but is his record that good that it's worth doing all of this like weird public just kind of shadiness? Like he's not like got like a Coach K record, right? It's very, I don't know. It's weird.
Like he was let go at LSU the first time under scandal, right? There were, I think,
right.
Wasn't there an FBI probe involved and
there was
players?
a wiretap, yeah. But now it's like, okay, well, you can pay players.
But he is positioned well for the modern era, as just highlights a lot of the problems.
I have experience with paying players.
Yeah, a lot of
right.
A lot of the things that were held against him his previous go around were like, hey, it'd be great today, that guy that we fired.
So anyway, the games last night though, Purdue beats Texas in a really close one. Iowa beats Nebraska also in a close one. Did you see, so what was it? Nebraska's trailing Iowa by 3 with a little more than a minute remaining. Iowa has the basketball. Mike, Fred Hoiberg and them boys, they only had 4 of them boys on the floor.
That's coaching, Zaz.
And it resulted in a layup, which resulted in an actual 3-point play. Game over. How do you only have 4 players on the floor in that spot? And it was after a timeout, by the way.
Ever heard of a team only having the one fewer player than needed on the field or on the court in a pivotal point in a game before? So I truly can't relate. I mean, these Nebraska fans must feel terrible.
Well, so Fred Hoiberg, predictably, was him and his team were asked about it post-game.
For Rink, about 58 seconds left. They had that deep ball to Alvaro for the bucket. I think there were 4 players on the court. Can you say what happened?
I'll address that one, Myron. Put that one on me. It was a miscommunication, and I'm the head coach. Put that one on me.
The 4 men on the court on that final inbound. There's some confusion online about if that's the rules. You're supposed to have 5 guys on the court. Were the officials supposed to hold the ball before the ball was put in play?
That's a good question, Rob, and I've never been in a situation like that. I know they always count to make sure there's not 6. I don't know the rule on that with 4. But, yeah, I mean, again, it was a miscommunication, and, unfortunately it happened. But, as far as the rule, I've never been a part of anything like that, so.
I just wanted to make the point that point out this spectacular irony or coincidence or whatever it is, that Coach Norman Dale did, in fact, only put 4 guys out on the floor and said, my team's on the floor, famously for high school basketball fans from the mid-20th century in Indiana. My team's on the floor. His team's name? The Huskers. Look at Freddie Hoiberg doing it with the Huskers in the 21st century. How great is that? Back to your conversation.
Dave, it's interesting that you say that because, and good on Fred Hoiberg for taking full blame, as he should obviously, but it's interesting that you say that because obviously the officials, if you have 6 on the floor, they're like it's going to be a technical foul, but if you have 4 on the floor, like in Hoosiers, the referee says you need a 5th. Like, the referee isn't supposed to actually allow the ball to be inbound if you don't have your team yet on the floor, and then the coach acknowledges, okay, this is what I want. My team is on the floor. That's actually, like, you are supposed to get that discretion from the referee. And so last night, the referees clearly were not counting the players on the floor. It's Hoiberg's responsibility, but normally the referee would say, Coach, you need 5 guys.
Is it, though? The solicitous referees are supposed to step in and be like, hey, trying to do you a solid here, Coach. You can throw another guy out there.
Yeah, they're supposed to count.
That in football games, but not in the NFL. Not in football games.
You're right.
They don't do that when you only have 10 guys out there.
Yep, you're right. But in basketball, it's normally like, hey, you don't inbound the ball yet because it was coming out of a timeout, and maybe the 5th guy is still coming off the bench. You're waiting for all 5 guys before you hand them the ball, and clearly the referees, they did not do that. So anyway, really good games last night. Jess, do you know who Chapel Roan is? Because I don't have a clue, and I feel like you might be able to help me out. I have no.
That can't
so
be.
I keep seeing on social media this. Am I even saying the name right?
Yes.
This Chapel Roan
Yes.
is all over my timeline. I don't have a clue who this person is.
Dave, do you know who Chapel Roan is?
I am aware of her because, for better
It's
or
a her.
worse, I'm pretty sure it's her. It's a her. I saw a picture on social media in the last couple of weeks that she had her side bosom exposed. Is that right?
She does tend to expose the side bosom, yes. Zaz, this is a social media controversy for our times based off of an incident that happened in Brazil last week where Chapel Roan was performing at a festival and she was at the hotel
so she's like a pop artist?
Wait, do you actually not? I'm
He
sorry.
genuinely, yes,
This
this is not big. He genuinely
doesn't
doesn't know,
Jess.
Jess. He genuinely
It's
doesn't
got a
know.
very finite musical.
Pink Pony Club.
Yeah, she's not in Metallica, so I
Yeah,
guess
like,
you wouldn't know.
I like what
She's
I like.
the Pink Pony Club.
Do you watch College Game Day, Zaz?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember when they did the ought to go bit with
Yes.
Chris Samuel a couple times? Okay,
Does
so
she
that was a
sing that?
reference to a Chapel Roan song. Yes. See, I'm trying to find you at your level where you may have encountered. 'Cause
I know
assume
that
you're not
song.
watching SNL because
Okay.
she also has been on SNL twice, I think.
Okay, go on.
So she's a performer. She's an artist. She's a young woman. She's at her hotel in Brazil, and apparently, according to the soccer star Jorginho, his I think wife or perhaps girlfriend, I'm not sure if they're married, his wife's daughter, who is the daughter of also Jude Law, who I found out has like 7 kids, didn't know that. They were at the same hotel, and apparently she walked past Chapel Roan and smiled at her or something like that. And then a big, ginormous, burly security guard who was part of Chapel Roan's security group went up to her and told her off basically and was like, don't do that. And this girl was very rattled and upset. And so Jorginho, whose wife is a somewhat famous reality person, posted it on his Instagram story. And then there was a ton of backlash at Chapel Roan, and people were making memes about how she hates kids and she wants to like kill kids and stuff. So then she posted a video where she was like, I don't know who that security guard is. I don't hate kids. I have never done anything like that before. And I don't even remember seeing this girl or her mom. And I feel bad for them because that's, shitty that happened to them. And then a lot of people were like, well, this was your security guy. What are you talking about? And like Jorginho's, Catherine Harding is her name, the mom of the daughter, was like, you should know if a security guard is representing you, it's still your fault. And was liking all these comments bashing Chapel Roan. And then the security guard, who's got like a ton of Instagram followers, he must be some sort of like security guard influencer. I'm not sure. He posted on his Instagram yesterday, he was not representing Chapel Roan, and he apologized and was like, no one told me to do that. So this is a whole controversy involving a lot of people with a lot of social media followers, and Chapel Roan, who has now been apparently banned from performing in Rio by the mayor of Rio, who was very ticked off by this whole thing, even though this incident occurred in Sao Paulo. So it's the tentacles of this run deep, Zaz. It is insane.
The best part about the mayor banning her from the performance, it was his second day as the mayor.
Oh, he's a man about action.
He was like elected the day before.
He was elected the day before. He became the mayor and was like, perfect win for me. Jorginho's upset. Let me defend him and kick Chapel Roan out of here.
Yeah.
Dave,
So
did you
anyways,
follow all
good
that?
times.
I have no GD idea. The whole story that Smetana just threw out there. I'm like, what the hell? I haven't heard.
But you know Jude Law, he's of your era, right?
No. My era is none of your business. Well, the point is, I had no idea of that. I am vaguely aware that Chapel Roan.
You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Chapel Roan is a. I'm aware of her pop
star
prowess. Yes.
Yeah.
I have children.
The question is,
I didn't know
Dave,
about all this stuff down in Brazil. I hadn't heard a single note of this.
Is the question is she a brat who wanted to tell off this kid and is now using the bodyguard as the fall guy? And also worth noting, she has had a lot of incidents with paparazzi. She does not like being a famous person, basically. Like, she wants privacy, and obviously it's not afforded to her most of the time, which understandable, but she's gotten in like little dust-ups before. But the question is, did she use this bodyguard as a fall guy? And she actually did tell him, like, hey, go yell at this little 12-year-old girl. Or was this just a complete misunderstanding and he acted of his own accord?
Well, can you just go back to this? Because I can't really render a verdict until I understand what the exchange was. What is the alleged incident that the Chapel Roan said to a security guard or to the child directly? Don't look at me. Don't make eye contact with me.
I need to pull up. He posted a long Instagram story, and now I want to pull it up and read it to you directly. So give me a second, because the allegation was that he basically came over when they were having breakfast and, quote unquote, was speaking in an extremely aggressive manner to both my wife and my daughter, saying she shouldn't allow my daughter to, quote, disrespect or, quote, harass other people. Honestly, I don't know at what point simply walking past a table and looking to see if someone is there can be considered harassment. He even said he would file a complaint against them with the hotel while my 11-year-old daughter was sitting there in tears. My daughter was extremely shaken and cried a lot. Sheesh. So like the daughter seems like she had a truly like upsetting experience, and it was very traumatic for her to be yelled at by the security guard. So that does not seem to be in question.
I got a daughter. Daughters be crying.
The thing about this that's really insane, Dave, and this is where it gets like spicy, is that this security guard who took the fall, claimed to not be there working on behalf of Chapel Roan. He's saying, I wasn't Chapel's personal security guard. I also wasn't the hotel's security guard. So the question is, whose security was he? Whose security was he? Now, this was a music festival, right? So was he there for one of the other performers? And he was just there at the hotel. And what's interesting, too, is there was a picture posted of the daughter with Louis Capaldi, another singer who was performing in this festival. And so the question becomes, was this little girl just running around to every table where there was a celebrity trying to ask to take a picture? And is she maybe is this family spoiled and entitled and thinking that they deserve a photo with everyone? Are they? It's the question. What I'm saying is, I'm saying this is what the internet is saying. The question becomes, is it just a reputation preceding her?
I think perhaps we should look at the mother and
That's right.
Jorginho himself, because included in the Instagram story where they called out Chapel Roan and the bodyguard, at the end of it, in all caps, quote, without your fans, you would be nothing. And to the fans, she does not deserve your affection. So they immediately went on the attack in this Instagram post, which I feel like this is where I net out on this. Like, for the rest of this poor child's life, she's going to be the girl who was involved in this thing because of her parents, because her parents decided to make it like a public spectacle and go after a super famous pop star, whether or not you like the pop star or not. I'm not like a huge Chapel Roan fan by any means. I'm just trying to look at this objectively. And now this little girl's always going to be remembered as little girl who was like sad because Chapel Roan's bodyguard may have been mean to her, or some other random bodyguard was. And I feel like the parents putting the little girl on blast and like putting her picture out there and being like, look at how upset my daughter is kind of weird.
I love the idea of this guy not being associated with Chapel Roan at all, and just being a security guard. And it's just like, when I'm in a lobby and I see someone who needs security, I have to security.
I like that idea that he's just security guard for wherever he is. Like, who do you think is his employer then? Like, who pays
Love
him?
the game, Zaz.
He just shows up.
He like
and he's
didn't
security.
want to, but he's like, I got a security.
Maybe then on the way out, like, he leaves an invoice on the hotel desk. You know, I did security.
Yeah.
So you owe me.
It's security just for the side boob. That's the only part he's responsible for.
Jess, speaking of the women's tournament, I want to make sure I get your opinion here, because I saw this a few days ago. You know, last week, look, with the women's tournament, I'm wholly uninterested in the first couple rounds because all the games are blowouts. And
that's not true. The first round, there are a lot of blowouts. The second round was awesome. If you didn't pay attention to the second round, you missed out on a lot of really good games, with the exception of the UConn-Syracuse game, which was in prime time, which that's a whole other thing, Zaz, that I think
that's what I want to mention.
Argue about. Yeah, like South Carolina and UConn as one seeds being on ABC while the other games are on ESPN and ESPN2, when in their first round games they're going to win by 70 points. Like they're going to just beat up on these 16 seeds. I agree with you. They're not the most competitive games, but there are other really competitive games, like the Iowa-Virginia game, which was on ESPN in the middle of the workday, ended up going to double overtime and was a huge upset, and Virginia became the first team to play in the Final Four in the women's tournament and advance to the second weekend. That was a pretty huge game and a huge upset, but not as many people watched it as the I think the South Carolina game, which was on at 7:00, which was a few hours later. But yes, I know what you're going to bring up, which is the Syracuse head coach talking about constantly being seeded in the UConn sub-regional. Is that right?
Yeah. So UConn beat Syracuse last weekend. I think the score was 98-45. And as Jessica mentioned, it's on ABC, and it's a total shellacking. And so here is the Syracuse head coach. This is after the game, and she doesn't think it's fair that they have to play UConn.
But I thought, deserved a little more respect after being in this business for 37 years, and to have to come and be in this particular bracket every freaking year is unacceptable. It's wrong.
I mean, Jess, they were the 9 seed. They won a game, so they're going to play the 1 seed the next round. It's UConn. I guess she's saying she's had to play UConn several times. We all know UConn's almost always one of the best teams. Does she have a right to be mad? Because I don't know. It sounds like it just be a 7 seed, and then you don't have to play UConn in the second round.
Yeah, she even said bump us down to a 10, and then we could go to Greenville or not Greenville, Columbia, play South Carolina. She was saying it was a much longer quote than that, but she was saying she feels like it's personal that Syracuse is constantly put in the same group as UConn, and that in years where Syracuse has the potential to be good enough to win a second round game, they're going up against this juggernaut in UConn every year, and it's not fair. And so according to ESPN, 5 of the last 7 NCAA tournament appearances that Syracuse has had have been versus UConn in the second round. 3 of them have been on UConn home court. So that is quite a significant amount. And part of the reason is travel, because it's cheaper for Syracuse to rent a bus and drive to, stores than it would be to fly them to LA to play UCLA or whatever. So I think she's saying it's we've had this exact same matchup so many times. It's lazy bracketing. Put us in a different group, because we're going to lose this game every time. We don't have, what she could have also said was,
that game in the second round of UConn. Everyone's going to.
Yeah, but that's possibly certainly this year UConn is really, really good, and it's going to be difficult for any team to beat them. But I think she's saying let us have a different matchup, basically. It's probably even difficult for her to get fans to come to this game, even though it is close by, because it's okay, well, it's UConn and they're going to lose in the second round. Whereas she's saying she's not even really getting a chance to play someone different. She also was the coach at Buffalo before this, where they played in the UConn sub-regional a number of times. So I'm just saying, I think, it probably wasn't the time and the place for her to do this, because it sounds okay, skill issue, be better than try to be good enough to beat UConn. You're the head coach at Syracuse. That seems like something that you should be more concerned with. But I do think there is a point there with just how the brackets are made, and just repeatedly giving people the same matchups year in and year out, because 5 of the last 7 is that's a pretty, large proportion of your tournament appearances that are ending up playing against UConn. And according to Justice Collins on Twitter, since 2017, UConn has sent Syracuse home 4 times in the second round. And then she said, I looked at our other top teams early on the repeat knockout. The most is twice, plus she played UConn when she was at Buffalo in 2019. So other teams are not playing the same team as many times as Syracuse has played UConn. I think that's what she was upset with. And then I think in the ESPN article I read, Princeton was also seeded. I think they were the overall 34, and Syracuse was
Yeah, that's been happening
Technology.
to us. We got to get on that. Sorry about that, Jess. But I guess it all boils down to, I don't think it's so much personal as it is regional.
It's money.
Yeah, well, it's like all these teams that have played UConn a bunch are all in the Northeast.
Yeah, it's money. And you got to remember, those first couple weeks they play at home. There's finances involved there. Jess, sorry, we lost your connection, but make sure you check Jess out. Every week, Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes. With Mike Golick Jr. Great job, Jess. We appreciate you. Let's do some updating of our brackets. You have the Midwest region. We have some round of 32 results we need to make sure we catch up on here, guys. All right. Number 5, Texas Tech. They were represented by this.
Jalen Brunson looks like the valet driver who lost your keys.
It's a good team we lost there.
So they are done and advancing. They're playing tonight. They lost to number 4 Alabama, represented by
Paul Feinbaum. Looks like the maitre d' at a fancy restaurant.
All right, that's a good one. In the East region, number 7 UCLA. They are done. They were represented by
Cal Raleigh. Looks like a motorcycle highway patrol officer.
Thought that was underseeded in this tournament.
And they're playing tonight, but they lost last weekend to number 2 UConn, represented by
Adam Silver. Looks like a newly opened chapstick.
Strong.
Chapstick around.
All right, there you go. So tonight, you got St. John's Duke, Alabama, Michigan, Michigan State, UConn, Tennessee, Iowa State. I'm into
Hey, Zaz.
Some good games tonight.
Yes.
I wanted to ask Smetana, and now I ask you.
Smetana.
Were these... Listen, it's a Pittsburgh.
Would you like to answer the question Zaz was asking?
I would like to... What was the question?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point, Dave. Yes, but proceed.
What was the question? What was his question?
What say you, Dave?
Say it. Just say it.
Just say.
We park our cars
He
in the
said
same
he was
garage.
excited. He said he was excited to watch these games. Wasn't that what he was saying?
Yeah, he was setting something
I didn't
up.
hear a question
More of a
mark.
statement.
Yeah, it was weird. We never got to the question.
Oh, well, excuse me. Please. The floor is yours, Aslo. The floor is yours.
I mean, who else would we be excusing? You're the one who came in. Of course
I didn't know that there was we were leading to a question. All right, please. Go ahead.
Tony.
Zaz.
You hear that question right there?
Hey, Zaz!
Which game are you most into tonight?
It's St. John's Duke. It's St. John's Duke. That's the game.
See
of the
this
tournament.
fraud. He's going to the Marlins games. He's watching the NCAA tournament the whole time.
Oh, whoa!
This guy's a fraud.
Or he's lying about watching St. John's Duke.
No,
He'll be at the domestic beer bar in center field watching it.
I got a phone.
Tony, I'll meet you there.
Dave, what say you?
Well, more interesting than what game Tony is going to watch or finds most compelling. Here's my fascinating question for you. It's whimsical.
Originally for
Were
Smetana,
these-
though, but now for me, right?
That's right.
A reheat for you,
Were
Zaz.
these not men's basketball matchups, but instead college football matchups? Which game would you find most compelling?
Oh, of
would
these
it be
games
Michigan,
tonight?
Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa State, or do you go back to last night? Iowa, Nebraska's pretty juicy. Illinois, Houston, sneaky good. Arkansas and Arizona, okay, if it's on at late night, you might sit there and watch it. And Texas, Purdue could be a fun one as
Pretty
well.
clearly Alabama, Michigan, I think.
Yeah, like I feel like we have to cross off Alabama, Michigan.
I love the idea of your game, but every matchup you
The
said,
clear winner.
not as good as Alabama, Michigan.
Iowa, Nebraska's pretty good.
If I were to take out Michigan, Chris is right. You have to cross off Michigan, Alabama. It would be
The Citrus Bowl.
Maybe Texas, Purdue. Yeah, watch a little Arch.
Purdue
Hey,
is
watch
our
Arch
choice.
Manning. You ever heard of Arch?
Have you seen that photo of Arch doing the play action fake before? No one knew that like the Peyton Manning stiff neck on the play action fake was hereditary until they saw that photo. Wow. He looks exactly like him.
You guys see that Marshall Manning? Apparently we got a better one. He's like
alliteration.
That's Peyton's actual kid. Yeah, I believe
Let's Arch. Let Arch
That's
be
who
good
Mike's
first.
talking
How that?
about, right?
Oh, was that the photo and it wasn't Arch?
Yeah, it's actually Peyton's kid.
Wow.
Marshall
then,
Manning.
Then it's directly hereditary.
Zaz, to answer your question though, it's St. John's Duke. That's the best game of the night.
St. John's Duke is very juicy. I'm rooting hard for St. John's because, who the hell roots for Duke? And I like Patino being in the tournament this long. Like, Patino, it's fun watching.
With a team that, can't really shoot. It's like, it's a weird team that's, specifically built for the Big East. It's like they can't really do a lot of things. They like to muck up the game. Duke has been vulnerable at times, and I want to see the pressure St. John's going to put on
It's a team that once went 17 minutes without scoring.
Correct.
This season.
And Patino threatened to kill himself because they missed free throws, which is possible, obviously, because he's a vampire.
I mean, the hype train, if St. John's wins tonight, Duke is a 6.5-point favorite according to DraftKings Sportsbook. St. John's wins tonight, the hype is going to be at a fever pitch heading into the regional final Sunday.
Does he come in with the white suit, all white tonight, or no? It would be a power move if he did.
Feels like the night to do it.
It's like you're playing Duke. You look across, you got the Boozer twins. You got a bunch of 5-star guys. And you look at your team, it's a bunch of ragtag bunch, Bad News Bears. He comes in with the cream suit with the red tie. It means business, Zaz.
What shirt underneath?
A cream one.
Is there any coach that wears the suit now? Any coach that breaks this new thing of wearing tracksuits?
I feel like Mick Cronin was wearing a suit.
Was he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. All right.
Good shout.
That's the answer.
Dan Hurley tonight. Dan Hurley wears a suit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Was the suit off the last
lost
time?
Is that Bill Murray's kid that just got that BC job?
Oh, maybe. I know he was an assistant with UConn.
Yeah. He just. I think he's getting the BC job. Dave, what say you?
He works hard.
All right.
Hey, I mean, Dave, you playing rigor mortis? What's going on?
I had no
He's
idea.
playing
That-
possum
you're
over
asking
here.
me, is that Bill Murray's child? I have no idea if that's Bill Murray's
All
child.
right, but say something.
Yeah.
It is indeed
I didn't
Luke
know,
Murray.
I didn't know what you did.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, the actor Bill Murray,
Yes,
has
he
a
has a-
child.
You
That
think
is
we're
right.
talking about a different Bill Murray?
Who is
He has a child?
who
Bill
is
Murray, the
wise
actor.
enough.
No, we're
who
talking
is
about Bill Murray,
wise
the
enough
accountant.
about the sport of basketball.
Financier?
To be the head coach of a basketball team.
He works
That's pretty
hard.
Remarkable. That's pretty rangy stuff from the Murray family. Isn't
That would've
it?
been great
It's
15
a
seconds
family of
earlier.
actors.
He's just learning about this.
Touche.
Is dead now, correct? Completely dead. There's no one. Is there anyone throwing the knuckleball now?
Someone has to be throwing.
Yeah. I would say Tim Wakefield was
None of us
bad.
have one. We're just like, yeah.
No, there has to
There's
be.
got to be. Well, wait a minute. The knuckleballer didn't go extinct without anyone telling us.
As
did
long
it?
as there's breath in my lungs, there's a knuckleballer out there.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. As long as there is breath in your lungs, will there be a knuckleballer out there?
There should be more because if you notice, I mean, I don't have any stats to back this, but I don't care. I'm going with it regardless. I would say that the position players that are pitching have a much better ERA than average pitchers do. Because they're all just going out there throwing the ball like 35 miles an hour, and the hitters are so confused that they just get under it, they pop up. Like, nary a run is scored off of a position player. Sometimes, but not always.
I loved when baseball analysis was starting strong. I loved the people who would do the analytics on how a knuckleballer would screw up your hitters the next day. The preparing for a knuckleball would screw you up the next day as well because you're sitting out there hitting those 45-mile-an-hour butterflies.
There's nothing that I hated more, like growing up watching the Marlins, than when Jamie Moyer was coming to play against them. And I don't even remember if he was a knuckleballer or if he could just only hit
it was just
75.
Slop. It was just slop.
He could
It wasn't
only hit
he
like
was not a knuckleballer.
72.
He was just old, and he threw croutons up
Anytime
there.
there's a
Tossed salad.
knuckleballer or just an old man that could throw the ball really slow, I knew like this team can only hit fastballs, and this is going to be a long day and a long week because they're not going to be able to figure it out.
And it's frustrating because you're just seeing these meatballs go over the plate. You're like, how can you not deal with this? This is so slow. Hit the baseball. And yet Jamie Moyer had a 20-year career. 40. He was still pitching.
What is the ruling of the committee? Is Stugotz is nominated? I need some sort of formal ruling from the committee. He has nominated Joe Musgrove. Billy is passionately against. Chris, are you willing to give him horse status because horse status is before ace? Horse is not an ace.
Chris, before you answer, I have good news on the knuckleballer front. There is still one remaining. Mickey Janis of the Orioles is still throwing it.
Okay? The worst team in the league.
He's still out there, though, keeping the species alive.
It also
will not
seems
go
though
extinct.
Mickey Janis has only pitched one game in 2021.
Oh.
In Major League Baseball.
He's still trying.
Still breath in my lungs.
Yeah.
He is currently with the Chicago Dogs of the American Association of Professional Baseball, which I don't think is in Major League Baseball. So
it is extinct.
So it is extinct for now, yeah.
But extinct in the majors doesn't make it extinct as a species.
Yeah, exactly.
This may surprise you, Dan, but there are only 33 pitchers who have ever thrown a knuckleball in a major league game, according to
wrong.
Wikipedia.
That's
which I was surprised how small that number was.
I don't think that's wrong, Billy. Why would you think that's wrong?
That's wrong.
Let's all name knuckleballers we can think of and see if
Well,
they're
no,
on
we'd
there.
never come up with 33 of them. 33 sounds about right to me. It's a terrifying way to make a living. Imagine all these guys. They're just failed pitchers who developed some other.
Whoa.
Failed pitcher.
Someone with like a 15, 20-year career is a failed pitcher?
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy
Whoa.
Moyer is not a knuckleballer. You made him a knuckleballer just because he throws
Tim
soft.
Wakefield
Soft
pitched,
toss.
yeah, across decades.
There are a couple of guys who are exceptions, but largely the knuckleballer is a novelty freak who comes out, and it is hard to make a living
Freak.
that way.
Jeez.
Freak, what are you
I don't
doing?
like how you're describing these things.
Right? Isn't Phil Niekro in the Hall of Fame? I mean,
is he? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He is in the Hall of Fame.
319 wins.
There are 4 knuckleballers.
What was his career?
What's your
Baseball
standard
Hall of
for the
Fame.
Hall of Fame?
No,
He
that's
also
my
had
bad.
274 losses.
No, that's my bad. He just pitched forever, and I should know that.
Nickname
and
Nuxty.
Compiler.
If you get, that is a classic compiler right there. Phil
Dangerous
Niekro in
nickname.
the Hall of Fame with 300 wins and 280 losses.
Jesus, he pitched for 24 years.
He
He
had a-
started 716 games.
He had a 3.35 ERA. I mean, that's legit good.
He pitched in Major League Baseball until he was
It's not?
48.
You're right, Stugotz. I stand corrected. It is my bad. I should have known. I think of Phil and Joe Niekro as the same kind of pitchers, and they are not. Joe Niekro was not a Hall of Famer, and Phil Niekro was. But go ahead and Google image search Phil Niekro so you can see. Please enjoy. I want you visually to enjoy what he looked like in a Braves uniform. And you tell me if that is a baseball Hall of Famer, the way that you look at bodies today.
It's like Christopher Lloyd.
You need.
He does.
He looks like
Doc Brown.
He looks like Gary Busey in that movie with Henry Rowan Gardner. What was it, Rookie of the Year?
He looks like a bit. Also, Gaylord Perry looked like this too. The old pitcher in the movie Major League, the old slop ball thrower. He's just an old man on the mound, is what he is. Jessica, what is your opinion here?
He looks
That
like
is
a
not him.
retired chemistry
Wait a minute.
professor.
Yes,
That's him when he's still playing?
His hair is so long, and I think it's coming out of his ears.
He's wearing a polo under that shirt.
Listen to
That
me.
can't be right.
This is what.
He looks like Uncle Dick.
Listen, when you could throw the
Yeah.
knuckleball
Uncle
the way
Dick got a
Phil
hole in
did,
one.
He does look like
right?
a
He
Cody.
did. You could pitch
It's the
forever.
ear hair.
Yeah.
Greg Cody's Back in My Day, featuring in-flight magazines.
In-flight magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is that cardboard pamphlet about the plane that nobody reads. The drink menu nobody needs. And the barf bag. Where's my in-flight magazine? Where did it go? Joni was right. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot, and then stole my in-flight magazine. These staples of Americana predated even Greg Cody. Pan Am Airways published the first IFM in 1940. Now the high-flying mags are disappearing like donuts in a press box. Southwest Rag, augustly called simply the magazine, is gone now. Delta Sky, gone. American Way, gone. Retired after 55 years. Alaska and Emirates Airlines, too, gone. Airline magazines falling from the sky one by one.
Jeremy, how did the live stream pitch clock go yesterday?
It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. It was me, Chris, Ethan. Then we had a variety of people.
All show up at the same time.
Yeah, including Mike Ryan. Thank you for stopping by in the midst of absolute chaos on the Zoom.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like you guys were dealing with some adversity there.
Yes, we pushed through.
Yeah,
middle innings,
I didn't
middle
even get
relievers
to
coming
say-
in.
I didn't even get to say Travis Hafner, which is something I really wanted to do. But I got
Brady
to say
Sizemore.
I got to say Michael Kadire and Corey Koski. So my job there was done.
Yep, it felt good. It felt good to have everybody there.
I will tell you, I felt a little bit bad. All right, I'll admit this. I'll cop this. I felt bad 2 days ago. The day before we're doing the stream, and I was like, "Oh, you got a live stream coming up tomorrow, pitch clock." And Jerry's like, "Yeah, you could, zoom in between 3 and 5." And my response, "Yeah, maybe."
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people zoomed in.
And I
at
think
the-
Jeremy took it as like, "Oh, all right."
No, not at
I
all.
felt a little bit bad.
No, you shouldn't feel bad. That's what it's like when I ask friends to hang out.
I wanted to join, for real. I really did.
Yeah.
I'm on to you.
I wanted to.
You stop. I'm on.
I was literally like, Lewis, send me the Zoom, but then I forgot.
You know what we talked about a lot was your boy O'Neal Cruz having truly a dreadful day.
Oh, yeah.
Like just one of the worst days
That's
I've seen
one
on an
day.
opening
Wear
day.
sunglasses.
Yeah, just wear sunglasses.
161 games to go.
He missed 2 pop-ups, not pop-ups, fly balls to center field because he's not wearing sunglasses. He was the first person to have ABS negatively affected.
Yes.
He had a walk turned into a strikeout. Just a bad day.
And then the next guy hit a homer. He could have been on.
Oh,
brutal,
hold on. So
brutal
tell
day.
me about that. He had a walk that turned to a strikeout. Like,
Yeah.
was he already on his way to first base?
He was like walking towards
3-2
first,
pitch.
and then they challenged it, and he had to turn around and come back.
Is he just like standing in the middle of the baseline waiting for
He
the
was
ABS?
just doing his normal, like starting to take off
Yep.
his stuff, got like 10 feet down, and had to just turn around.
It was great.
And then he struck out.
Yeah, it was tough for him.
So I unfortunately hopped in the Zoom at the same time everybody else did, but I was a little delayed because I wanted to have all the games on TV, which this year ESPN's app is the home of MLB.TV. Now, a little something for the sports fans out there. Apparently, I had the MLB package all of last year because I'm a legacy subscriber, and they'll renew it automatically for you. So
there was a time where you willingly bought the package.
yeah, when I was doing my first year of a now 3-year bit of being a Mariners fan, I watched a bunch of Mariners game that first year and then just assumed I didn't have the package all of last year, so I got back out of baseball, but apparently I was paying for it the entire time because I checked and I'm like, okay, let me just go to the ESPN app. I think I have this MLB package because I saw a charge this time, and I go to do it, and I got the prompt that says, get access. Now, I am an Xfinity customer, and it took several months to be able to get ESPN Unlimited. And I had this additional subscription that was Disney, but with commercials, Hulu, and ESPN Select. So this afforded me the opportunity to get a little tight. But here's the thing. ESPN is trying to trick you because you can't do things on the app. You can't manage your accounts conveniently on your phone.
.tv sounds like it's like a computer.
You can't even do it from the app itself. The only thing that really got me results was doing everything via desktop.
Yeah.
And it's intentional because they want you to have multiple subscriptions out there. But after 20 minutes of a lot of hard work, and this is a segment we like to call Old Guys Complaining About Streaming, I finally got alignment. I reduced one of my additional subscriptions that I don't need anymore because the Xfinity thing finally worked, and that took 15 minutes because they make that extra hard. But I watched baseball, and I had multiple games on when it came to baseball. Yeah. And it was a beautiful thing to see. I was into the sport of baseball for a day, and I joined this stream. But I'm doing a public service, folks. You're going to have to do this all via desktop, which is like the most boomer way to do it. So many of you are probably thrilled about
The MLB app
this.
didn't work?
No, dude. I also, forgot my password, so I'm like, all right,
That's the
send me
tough
my
part.
password. But then I never got the email for the password, so I got to go on the
You
desktop.
got to make sure you put in the right email.
I
Good point,
did.
Zaz.
There's just different ways around it. It's all exhausting and it's meant to be difficult. I keep telling myself, man, I feel so old. I feel like such an idiot. But the thing is, the system tries to make it super hard for you.
I think this is also a difficult year in that there's a transition here from the regional sports network model to so many of these teams going internal that they have everything through, whether it's Marlins.tv, Rays.tv, whatever that is. So now, literally as of yesterday, and this is MLB doing these negotiations all the way for all of these teams. As of yesterday, they were just announcing which over-the-air channels you would be able to access the different teams from. So like the Marlins announced, hey, you can get it on AT&T, on Comcast, Infinity, Charter, Fubo, but you didn't know that until yesterday. So if you were a fan who was trying to look in advance, you might have felt the need to go buy the subscription. Luckily, these subscriptions are at a reasonable price, but then you might have this issue that Mike ran into. So if you want to watch a game like tonight or, want to continue through the weekend, you should get yourself set up in advance.
I had 25 minutes, and it was like, do my taxes or be able to watch sports. And
you got to go sports.
I went sports. I had 25 minutes to be able to watch sports.
You don't have a guy that does your taxes?
I do have but I got to prepare stuff, dude.
Don't have a guy?
Yeah, I have.
I got a guy.
It's a lady.
Trust me, I got a guy.
I got one of those guys.
It's a lady. It's a really good one, but
Guess
I
what religion
also
he
have to
is.
get my stuff together.
Gotcha.
You got a lot of.
No, trust me, I got you.
Yeah,
I had to do some work too.
Yeah, but I'd rather watch baseball, which is crazy considering the discourse.
All right, sounds really complicated how we're going to watch baseball.
Yeah, that's how much. Look, when it comes to baseball or doing taxes, I'll give baseball this. I prefer watching baseball.
All right, it's a hell of an endorsement. Jeremy, let's do a stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by Moneyline. Download the Moneyline app or visit moneyline.com to learn more. Moneyline, make money easy.
We've got 3 competing stats of the day here, all freshman related for college basketball, men's college basketball here. So first, per OptaStats, Arizona had 3 freshmen who scored 15 points or more on 60% shooting or more. It's the first time that's ever happened in an NCAA tournament game. Okay. Illinois had a pair of freshmen to each have a double-double. It's the first time it's happened in an NCAA tournament game since freshmen became fully eligible in 1972. And Darius Acuff Jr. scored the most points through 3 career men's NCAA tournament games by a freshman over the last 50 years. He passed Zion Williamson's record of 80 points through 3 games.
That's the one.
Which is the most impressive.
Why would a freshman not be eligible to play?
Yeah, it's weird.
Back in the day, you used to have JV. They wouldn't be able to play.
It was like a
on the
mandatory
varsity
redshirt,
team.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. So
You
then
know, it used to
Darius Acuff?
Back in the day, you couldn't dunk. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah,
He
back in
still
the day,
can. That
they
wasn't
didn't-
just an athleticism?
They didn't think, hey, dunking is like showboating on the other team, so you couldn't actually dunk. That's why you see back in the day, like everybody like laying it up and finger rolling. They didn't allow you
that's
to
why
dunk.
in all those highlights, like Will Chamberlain is
It's the
finger rolling
finger
when he can
rolling.
easily dunk.
Exactly right, because dunking was like a faux pas. You couldn't dunk.
Wow, did you know that, Dave? You're shaking your head. Yes, you knew that.
Yeah, at UCLA, and Tony is right again with the freshman season. There was a freshman team. You were not allowed to play varsity ball until your sophomore
Thank you,
year.
Dave.
I know there's a lot of excitement in the air for baseball opening day, as there rightfully should be. But let's not forget our brothers playing spring football, because it's also opening day for the UFL. Now, as you know, I'm a big XFL guy. I really don't like this UFL branding, but this sport has done a lot this offseason to try to shock the
Why
system.
don't you like the branding? What is it?
I'm an XFL guy
But
because
what's the brand?
because I'm a child of the Attitude Era. All right?
You know about that He Hate Me?
Yes, I know plenty about He Hate Me. And unfortunately, one of the many things that COVID took from us was the fact that the XFL relaunch right before COVID impacted everyone's life was actually really good. And the ratings were good. It was getting traction. And then we are where we are right now, which is the UFL struggling to recapture even those highs.
Do you remember how the XFL used to do, instead of a coin toss, what they did at the beginning of the game to
Yes,
decide who gets the ball?
the scrum for the ball. It was
Fun.
great. Dave. It was
I was
great.
just saying I enjoyed that element.
No, you weren't.
Continue, Mike.
Kirby, I believe Kirby Dardar was on one of those teams.
Really?
Yeah, doing some of the scrums. And I think like the very third one, someone tore his shoulder because obviously that stuff is going to happen. But I have surprising news. This may surprise you guys. The UFL game for one of the expansion teams in Louisville is completely sold out. Completely sold out. Yes, because it's a good football town. They're actually playing, I believe, at the same stadium the Louisville Cardinals play in. But I don't know if you've seen what the UFL strategy is to get people to the games this opening weekend, but it's brilliant. Ludacris is playing at a halftime.
Luda?
Nelly is playing at a halftime. Gucci Mane is playing at a halftime. DJ Khaled is playing at a halftime. Gavin DeGraw doesn't fit this general theme, but he's playing at halftime.
Got some bangers.
They have incredible halftime performers playing at these games, and it's apparently going to be really effective. More so than even the football is come out, watch the Houston Gamblers. Or back to the Gamblers, by the way. That's a big one because I hated the Roughnecks.
Roughnecks is stupid.
Hated the Roughnecks. You had the Gamblers branding the entire time. I know Dave's with me on this one. I could watch the Gamblers, not expecting much from them this season. And that's window dressing on a Ludacris concert, Dave.
I am a child not of the XFL, but of the USFL era, which, in fact, with the AFL notwithstanding, is the second best incarnation of football as an answer to the NFL, the XFL, UFL. They kind of suck and are irrelevant, and it begs the question: why do they not just throw as much money as they possibly have at Colin Kaepernick and other names that get heat like that? That's the solution, isn't it? What am I missing about that?
What you're missing was who was running the XFL at first. And how, when the XFL first announced, back when Colin Kaepernick still had a window, I guess, because now the guy hasn't played for 10 years.
Now, not right.
Now it's
Nor
ridiculous.
should he.
But, they part of the press conference that Vince McMahon had was there will absolutely be zero kneeling. Yeah. He made it very clear that Colin Kaepernick really wasn't in the cards. Yeah.
I get it, but the UFL, when it's, I can't even remember how many times the UFL has attempted to launch itself, but within 3 years, or 3-4 years ago, they certainly could have done that with Colin Kaepernick. And even if you remove him, if you find him problematic for whatever reason, just big name guys, throw all the loot you can possibly find in the same way that your soccer team in Miami went out and got Messi. That's the solution, isn't it?
There are some interesting names, though. Everyone will look to the quarterback position, and you have Matt Corral, but Benny Snell, I don't know, that probably does zero for you.
DTR in Orlando,
yeah, John Ross, Laviska Shenault, there are players that you're I remember him. It is dudes naming dudes on the UFL, and I think that what they try to do with the product is shock the system a little bit, and the NFL has already taken some cues from the Spring Ball League, formerly known as the XFL, and now presently the UFL. I don't think the games are bad. I think that the talent will surprise you, and I think from an in-game experience, you throw Gucci Mane or Ludacris at me or Nelly and the St. Lunatics, I'm inclined to have a good time.
Gavin
because
DeGraw?
as you know, Dave, I like to sit outside and drink an ice-cold beer.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to take you to task for that, friend. I'd like to be right next to you with a beer in my own hand.
Watching a baseball game from 6 months ago.
I'm trying to, that's right. I'm trying to think, though, of who are those names. I say Colin Kaepernick, but, practically his ship has sailed. It would be bad for him to throw himself out there between the lines, even in the UFL. He'd probably get himself hurt. Then again, there is Joe Flacco. But is there a name out there that's sort of boy, that would be an interesting fit for a secondary league? I advocate, by the way, a little self-promo. Football America, Pablo Torre coming out within a matter of minutes here. Make sure you check that one out. But I do address exactly that. Doesn't the NFL need at last a minor league like every other major sport has here? The CFL is sitting there. Mm-hmm. The UFL, there's some opportunity there. I guess it's because of the collisions you don't want to throw your young prospects out there for games.
Also, it already exists with college football.
Yeah, that's true. But the CFL and the brain trust behind the UFL were very close 3 years ago to some sort of merger partnership, and it fell apart. Dave, I know spring football isn't your thing because you like college football, you love the NFL, but doesn't the current president of Football America owe it to his football Americans to give spring football a chance?
I'm down. I'm not getting up on Mount Pius about it. My heart is open, and so too will my eyeballs this weekend. I'm more than willing to give it another shot. I've given it many shots because, as you say, I love football. I've watched USFL, XFL, UFL, and all the rest of it. I'm down.
I wonder what Football America thinks of a couple, rules that they actually have in the USF and the UFL that they don't in the NFL. Once you get to Tony, once you move the ball into plus territory, you are not allowed to punt.
I love that. Be bold.
There's no punting once you're on the other side of the field.
Good.
Yeah.
4th and 13? Go for it.
And I think like a 60-yard field goal is worth 4 points. So you might find yourself like there's strategy implied now with the battle of real estate acquisition, math being done. I'm willing to let this play out and see if this stuff works in the NFL. I know the notion of a kick being worth more points scares people, but I would argue on the other side of the coin, Tizaz's original point is like this is also making punting less important.
Correct. And also the hypothetical we drew out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, was all right, if it's 4th or 3rd and whatever, are you actually going to go back to try and get a 4-point kick instead of a 3-point kick?
I think things can get a little wacky. I think you're right. Like, if I have the ball 3rd down and I'm on the 41-yard line, I may want to lose a couple
little
yards.
Draw play, go the other way?
Yeah, like is that like that? That's kind of wacky, right?
And because the UFL has done this stuff with all these rules and being creative, it's kind of I'm on this algo where people are pitching football.
My
rules.
algo's different than yours.
I know your algo. You should have
You
known
got that
Chapel
good algo?
Roan if your algo is what it says it is. But Dave, there was one rule that I saw somebody propose that I'm curious your thoughts on. At one point in the game, you can decide we're going to give the opposing team 6 points. Just give us the ball. Well, we're not going to let them milk the clock. Like we are conceding. They score. Just give us a ball.
Cute, a contrivance. It's a fine line between trying to push the envelope and get some attention for your league, and if it really thrives and then the NFL picks it up, it's validating and all of that. But I think you do run the risk of just being a punchline, a joke league. The XFL did too much whenever it was 20 years plus ago now. It went too far, so it seems silly. It was hard to take seriously because it didn't feel like they were taking themselves seriously.
Well, how many
not to be a hardo, right?
How many times have you been
I think
watching?
That's right.
How many times have you been watching a game? Many sports fans have said this at their TV on a Sunday. Let them score. Right? Hashtag let them score is a thing.
I never want my defense to give up points.
Unless you need the ball back immediately because you're down 2 scores and the scoring's not as important as the time that's on the clock. So what's a bigger bastardization of the sport? A defense just letting a guy score?
Right.
Or just saying like, no, give them the points, give me the ball, let's make this a little bit
But then
more
we haven't let them
interesting.
score off because then the defense is like, no, we take 6 points from them.
They just
and they're
keep
like,
going,
wait,
they
we
just keep
take 6
going
points
back
from
and
them.
forth.
Exactly.
Now
All
we're
of a
getting
sudden
to
the
Dave's
score's
I like that
96,
strategy.
92.
You want to give me 6 points? No, you get 6 points.
No, I get 6 points
because
back.
I want the clock.
Dave's mind was
We
just
stunned.
blown.
Yeah, I stunned him. My bad, Dave. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dave. Then let him score off. My bad.
This is great because Football America does do exactly this today, is things that we can do, things we can incorporate from other sports into football to make the greatest sport even better. I went the direction of like fight songs, the dressing around it. If you're talking about halftime shows, Mike Ryan, the thing that college football and in fact soccer at large has over pro football is the fans singing in the stands and the fight songs and all of that kind of stuff. I would love for that to happen. I think it's the UFL that has this rule, though my long-standing one. Let's replace the stupid Pro Bowl that nobody gives a crap about with the Loser Bowl. Have the 2 worst teams play each other, and the winner gets the first overall pick in the next draft. That would be the greatest thing. And then the curmudgeon say, who would want to watch that? The answer is Every football fan would want to watch that. We're draft obsessed, if you haven't noticed.
Right, but
Everybody
Dave,
would buy
why would?
into that.
But if the number one pick in the draft, like this year, it's Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be the number one pick in the draft. Why would the quarterback for the Raiders want to win that game so then he loses his job?
Exactly. Team A wants to run the ball. That's how their offense is built. They love to run the ball. The problem is they're going up against the team that's number one at stopping the run. Figure it out, coach. That's your job. If you don't think the quarterback is going to try, then go with another quarterback. I mean, and by the way, for professional reasons, you can't put bad tape out there. You can't tank a game openly like that in front of the public. No one would ever hire you to be their quarterback ever again. So for better or worse, you would try if you're the current quarterback of a team and you're playing to give your team the right to draft your replacement.
What about the 4th and 12 conversion instead of an onside kick? Nobody gets onside kicks anymore because you also have to announce them beforehand, so they've eliminated the surprise onside kick because the players are way out.
You're not even allowed to do it before the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you have to announce it. I like the 4th and 12 conversion rule. I think the NFL should consider
I hate that.
Really?
That feels very I get it.
You want 4th and 13?
The onside kick is one of the most exciting things, the scarcity of it and how rarely it worked, even when it was working periodically. I mean, now it has zero chance of working. But again, this is a contrivance that feels like you're watching a game show in the final round where you can win the first 3 rounds, but then the other guy can win the whole thing just by winning the final round because there are more points available.
Honestly,
to you. It feels foolish.
No, Dave, let's pretend we're just building this sport. We are starting the sport of football. The past has never happened.
Great invention.
All right? Yeah. All right. First off, credit to us. We invented football.
Wow. Clap it up. Let's go.
How did we come up?
Give it a better name because there's very little feet.
How did we come up with this ball?
All right. Yeah, it's oblong. We got that issue. All right? But that makes it easier to throw in the air. All right? More aerodynamic. Wow. What do you think is a better way if a team wants to get the ball back after scoring? Kicking this oblong ball a mandatory distance of 10 yards, and hopefully you get the right bounce, or we actually line up an offense versus a defense, and we go for 4th and 12.
That one.
And you do one play.
Yeah, that one for sure.
I'm not crazy. You're crazy. The onside kick is crazy.
Got to be 4th and 15.
Yes, that's a carnival sideshow attraction, the onside kick. 4th and 12, that's football.
I guess so. Also, my problem is, though, that when everything has already skewed towards whatever favors the offense, I think we've reached a place where you would see a lot of conversions on that. Would that be a good thing? I mean, you'd start to see scores like, I think it wouldn't be, it's not wild to suggest that you would see some 61-54 kind of final scores with semi-regularity if you started to do that, because you would understand that if you're down by a couple of scores in the second half, that offense, if you have a good quarterback and a good offense, that you would probably try to go for it a lot more than teams currently do.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but also, especially for a spring football league that has already got the deck stacked against them, right, to get eyes and attention. I mean, if you're tuning into a blowout, you want as many opportunities as you can in the game for the other team to get back into it. Give me some drama here, because I don't want to watch good football teams in a blowout. The hell, I'm going to watch perceived bad football teams in a blowout.
But the shortcut to this is Le'Veon Bell is our starting running back. Antonio Brown has now been signed to be a wide receiver. Like I say, the names are out there. It's weird that they're not grabbing to get these people. That's how your league resonates. It's why the reason the AFL made it was because they outspent to get Joe Namath and some other big name guys coming out of school in the 60s. That's why it made it. And the USFL almost made it. I can't remember the owner who really mucked things up and tried to force it into the fall too soon. But either way, the USFL was about to make it because they did exactly what I'm talking about. People forget about Steve Young and
they signed Zonka too, didn't they?
No, that's the 70s league.
Yeah, that's the 70s.
World Football League, Jim Kick and Zonka and all of those guys. But I'm talking about the 80s, please keep up. It really was Talk about somebody who has a chip on his shoulder. I love the USFL. I was gaga for its 2 or 3 year window of relevance. But like Herschel Walker would be unquestionably a Hall of Famer right now if he had not gone off to the USFL. And there are a number of guys who probably fit that description. But they threw money at these guys to do it. Steve Young, like I say, and Jim Kelly and otherwise. And that seems to be the answer. We can talk about like, good halftime shows. And Mercury Morris, maybe. I don't know.
I like reminiscing about the old rules, the old gimmicks that the XFL used to be. Do you remember they had a cheerleader locker room cam?
Yeah.
They had a camera.
Sorry.
Cheerleaders dressing room.
No, they didn't.
Attitude Era. Yeah, Ryan Clement was the
Holy
opening
shit.
game starter. He was a former University of Miami quarterback.
Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, he was starting for the Las Vegas Outlaws in this game, and they did like a pregame interview where he was in a hot tub surrounded by cheerleaders.
Hell yeah.
What a time to be alive.
We're so close to being back to that.
We are, thank God. Whoa, it's been a long 25 years.
As soon as Clavicular gets out of prison, he'll be on it.
Yeah, maybe he can play quarterback for the Stallions.
Tony, what was I hearing from you this morning where you're upset with some of your friends with the way that they call you?
Yeah, there's a bit of a situation going on that I like to call Are We Friends? It's the Are We Friends paradox, right? We all have each other's numbers in our phones. Everybody, there's nobody that I know that memorizes everybody's number and then a random number calls them like, oh, that's Jeremy.
Isn't that
that's
crazy?
Chris.
Like if you ask me right now, I can remember, I know my phone number from my original house when I was a kid. Moved
Same.
out of there when I was 11,
Same.
all right? I know that phone number still. I could tell you it right now, okay? If you also ask me right now, what are I have 2 teenage boys. What are their phone numbers? I have no clue.
Really?
I have no clue what their phone numbers are.
Seems to be an important one.
I know my
You might need to learn
parents,
that one.
my wife, and my brother.
I know my wife. I don't know my dad. I know my wife's. I know my mother's. I don't know my dad's cell phone. I don't know my boy's number.
I know everybody's number in my family by heart. So, like, I know all of those. But all of you guys, like, I have you guys saved. Like, my friends.
What's my number?
954 something.
Okay.
So all of you guys, 954.
He got it.
Damn it. He nailed
Except
it.
Zaz.
I'm 305 till I die.
Zaz is 305 till you die. You're a 786 guy.
What? Fuck you.
So, all of a sudden.
Is Mike learning he's 786?
I'm not 786.
I have an issue where somebody in my life answers the phone like if they don't know who I am. So every time I call them,
I can do a good, I don't know who this is. Hello.
Tring, tring.
Hello?
Exactly right.
Wow. Wait, he answers it like a question?
Like a question, like, who is this? Like if it's a number that he
Or
doesn't
he like
have
disguise
saved.
the voice. Hello.
No, but it's
That's
not
what I do. If I don't know the number, hello.
No,
Wait,
but
so
it's
do you have a problem with them answering hello or them answering hello like they're confused?
confused. Because this is a back and forth that, like, I'm calling because we're talking back and forth and I'm answering a question. I have to ask somebody else. I have to call you back, whatever. And it's the same answer. Hello? And it just got me thinking, like, do you not have my number
Now,
saved in your phone?
Do
you know who I am?
Could this just be their hello? Maybe that's just how they say hello.
They never say hello as a statement.
Maybe they're just always like, hello?
Walk into a room.
Hello?
Hello? It's always with a question mark. And it's like, I'm a very, I don't know, a friendly guy when I talk on the phone.
Yeah.
So like, hey, like Jeremy called me. Hey, what's up, buddy? What's going on?
Exactly.
Zaz called me. Hey, what's up? Like, talk to me. He was
I
just
feel like
like
when I call you, you're just like, yo.
Or
Yo's
yo.
a good one, though.
But like,
I feel like I'm not getting the proper response from Tony
next time
when I
you call me, I'll make sure that I give you a more zapped up response.
Thank you.
But this one
Now,
was,
would we know the person?
we would. And I don't want to put their
Oh,
their
it's a
business out there.
coworker?
It's somebody that is close in the vicinity.
Man, why did Lewis answer the
Yeah,
phone
why did
like
Lewis
that?
do
I
that?
don't know why Lewis does that. It's not Lewis. I'm not going to say who it is. But it's somebody amongst us in our midst
Why did
that
Danny B
answers
do
me
that
with
to
a
you?
hello with a question mark. And I know you have my number in your phone, and I have your number in my phone, and everybody knows. But you answer me with a hello with a question mark like you don't know who I am. So my question is,
It could be Rose.
are we friends?
She can be awkward.
No, it's not Rose, buddy.
Okay.
No, Buddy's good. I need to know if this person has my name in their phone, or if they don't.
I do have an issue recently
Hello?
with my phone where I have saved numbers. I know I've gone through the process of saving them. I'll even say Matt Sullivan, who works for our program. Every time I get a text from him, it says maybe Matt Sullivan. I've saved his contact over and over and over again. My phone won't save it.
I love the maybes.
And so if I get a phone call,
They're never wrong.
It doesn't always say that. On the text, it'll say
They are
maybe. On the
absolutely
phone call,
sometimes
it won't.
Not
No,
with
they're
me.
sometimes wrong.
No. I
Never?
just love. Maybe it's this guy Steve.
Yeah, maybe. But as a
Hello
result,
is a Tony, please. I'm sorry. I'm with you completely. The hello, I think movies had it right forever ago. Weird thing, because people in movies don't say hello. They just start talking when they pick the phone up. It is a weird way to acknowledge that the conversation is beginning. Before it's a hello with a question mark. People don't talk that way except on the phone. But as far as that goes, I'm surprised that you answer the phone. Do you answer the phone if you don't know who is calling you?
No. And that's the thing. It usually says spam likely, or the new update on the iPhone won't even give me the call. It'll just send it straight to voicemail, spam, and then I'll open my phone and it's like, oh, you have a missed call.
Wow.
I look at it and it's from like some, Dagestani number somewhere, and I'm like, okay, good thing they didn't call me. But I'm a big phone talker. I like talking on the phone. Like, Dave, if you call me, we'll talk. Right? Like, I'm not the guy that's like, no, don't call me, text me.
I'm out for that.
No, I want to talk on the phone. I want to hear the tone of your voice. I want to hear the cut of your jib.
You can text me.
Not interested in taking anybody's call, so much so, in fact, that the world at large knows. Don't call me and expect me to answer the phone. My sister sent me a meme a couple of days ago that it said, it laid out a hypothetical that you get $1 billion if you can call somebody on your phone list
In a pitch and them actually pick up?
And no, they don't pick up. You get $1 million. My sister said I would call you because I know you wouldn't answer. And I said, wrong. I've trained you to not call me for random casual conversation. So that means if I do see you calling me or our mother calling me, I know it's an emergency and somebody has died, so I must answer the phone. So I would answer the phone in that situation. But otherwise, don't bother calling me to kibitz. What do I'm a busy man, please.
You were at a bar watching a game from 6 months ago. What are you talking about? You're busy. Give you a call and talk about the game. Come on.
Do you not? So Tony, if someone calls you, who you know, a friend, do you answer with hello or do you go right into conversation?
I've never answered the phone with hello, ever in my life. Hey, what's going on? What's up? What are we doing? Where you at?
I always
what's the play?
answer hello. I always say hello.
No, never.
I
never say hello.
Spanish speakers don't say hola. What is the standard?
A lot of things. Dímelo. Oigo. ¿Cómo estamos?
¿Qué lo que?
¿Qué lo que?
When it's a work call.
That's what people would say, yeah.
When it's a work call, it's, hey, whatever their name is, how's it going? Hey, Jeremy, what's up?
No, I always say hello.
Hey, Tony, what's up? That's how I answer work calls.
I like how Mike answers the phone, because sometimes Mike answers the phone in the studio and he's got to take a call and leave, and he goes, hey, it's Mike Ryan.
Well, that depends when I'm expecting a call potentially from a number that I won't recognize, so I self-identify. Usually the way that I answer the call is, hey, I can't talk right now.
Text me.
It's bad time.
Hey, I'm going through a tunnel.
When I was a kid, I used to answer the house phone with hi.
Well, I used
Squeaky
to
voice
too.
Aslan.
I always used to, and they would always respond, hi, ma'am. Hey, ma'am.
I used to answer with hi. And my parents would get mad at me. Like, that's not how you.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone answer the phone.
There was nothing more emasculating than answering.
That's like the
phone
high
as a
talker in
kid.
Seinfeld.
And hello, ma'am. I want to talk to you about this cleaning product.
In your 20s, when you think you're cool, it's yo. You answer ring.
In your 20s when you think you're cool. What does that mean?
Yo.
I answer yo.
I used to be a big yo guy. Not anymore.
Yo, what's up?
Did you guys see this morning?
Did you say that?
You know, athletes, star players, some of them have nicknames. Okay. Nicknames are cool if you're an athlete, right? And apparently, Caleb Williams, quarterback for the Browns, he's trying to trademark.
Caleb Williams is not a quarterback for the Browns because I'd be a Browns fan.
For the Bears.
For the Bears, like I said. Caleb Williams.
Those Bears are brown.
The brown
Larry
Bears.
Zonka also.
Quarterback for the Bears. He's trying to trademark his nickname. He wants to trademark the name Iceman.
Oh, come on.
Dave, did you see this? George Gervin.
The Iceman.
I'm outraged.
Yeah, go ahead. You saw this.
I mean, listen, sports has an Iceman. It's not in question. How lacking in creativity are we as a society that this is where we've reached now? This isn't the first time it's happened. Obviously, we have Aaron Rodgers deciding to be A-Rod. We already have an A-Rod, man. And LaDainian Tomlinson, Yep, I'm LT now. No, we already have an LT in your sport, man, and he was better than you, as good as you were. What are we doing? And by the way, this is a whole new layer of awful, because I don't even know if George Gervin can rightly say he might be I don't think he's the OG Iceman, because Iceman, I don't know when Iceman made the scene in Marvel Comics, but he's out there. And then, of course, you have Iceman Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise's Maverick's arch nemesis in the skies. Who is the greatest Iceman of them all? I'll tell you one who isn't. Caleb Williams. He's a thief.
What is the most egregious stealing of nickname? Because I would tell you, if somebody says Mello, you can't be talking about LaMelo Ball.
No, it's Mello.
Because people call LaMelo Ball Mello. Like, you're not Mello.
You know who's another thief? Bam Adebayo, Dwight Howard, Superman. You can't be Superman. Shaq's Superman.
Oh.
Is that right? He's trying to take Superman?
You remember when he did the dunk
No,
contest and he
he's
took off
Dwight
the thing
Howard.
and he had the Superman thing?
Yeah, it's actually Dwight Howard, not the Philippines Dwight Howard. It's a whole thing.
Which is Bam Adebayo.
I also call myself King James.
After the Bible?
This is
Dude, you
outrageous.
stole
We
it.
have to put our foot down. We have to put our foot down as collectively. We can't allow this. Just like, well, yeah, but George Gervin played a couple of generations ago, so we can put that name back into the pipeline. No, we cannot.
I've got
No,
a
we
better
cannot.
nickname for
there
Caleb
cannot
Williams.
be another Mean Joe, can there?
I got one too.
Look, when someone is clutch, they usually describe them as nails. Yes. What do we know about Caleb Williams outside of his, he comes in through the clutch and he paints his nails.
Nails, baby.
He should be Nails.
Nails Williams?
He should be Nails Williams is a badass.
Nails Williams?
What's up,
pretty
Dan?
dope.
What's up, Nails?
That's not bad.
Marvelous.
Hello,
Marvelous.
Nails?
He should drop the lawsuit, and we should sue Caleb Williams
But-
because he's trying to make his nickname
Countersue.
the Iceman when his nickname should be Nails.
But what if the nickname, like, is it okay if it's a different sport? Because
Lenny
Dykstra was Nails.
I think this one's fine. Wait, what do you mean? We can forget Lenny Dykstra. No one can.
What are you doing?
It's pretty unforgettable. Dave, though, outraged.
Williams.
Outraged.
Yeah,
over
but
the
but
Iceman.
this one
I'm
makes
over the moon.
sense. He paints his nails.
We all park our cars in that garage.
Dave, I'll call you about it later. We'll talk.
Ryan.
So, like I was saying before, Dave, which
Straight to
Sweet 16
voicemail.
matchup you most looking forward to tonight?
Michigan. I don't know. I don't give a good goddamn about that. I'm all about the chase. The final 10 games for the people are missing out. NBA, this, and NFL draft that. What you're missing is the home stretch of the regular season in the NHL.